Chapter 1303. Investigating in the dark. I know a little about this, but healing is also very powerful. It can heal people, it's not any worse than others. The foundation of a noble family doesn't necessarily lie in fighting and killing. Lin Yi was a doctor, so he knew very well how powerful a doctor was. A famous doctor was someone every noble family would fight to win over. That's right. But the mental cultivation method of our Sun family is too difficult. One level can only heal and support one person. The descendants of the Sun family, I'm afraid, will only be able to master one level in our entire lives. It's even more difficult to break through. Sun Ikai said, because of this, the Sun family's use is a lot weaker. We can't heal everyone, so it feels a little useless. Otherwise, with the nature of the Sun family, it wouldn't be difficult for us to enter the ranks of the hidden noble families. Sun Ikai saw through it all. Lin Yi only remembered that the special thing about the Sun family's mental cultivation method was that it had limitations. Because of this, the Sun family's development was limited. Only through marriage could they increase their strength and maximize their benefits. Otherwise, after the descendants of the Sun family heal someone, they could only heal and support one person for the rest of their life. If that person didn't join the other family, there was no point in staying in the Sun family. So the only way was marriage. What level are you at now? Have you healed anyone before? Lin Yi asked. Me? I haven't reached the first level yet. Sun Ikai smiled bitterly. It's not that easy to train. My sister is so talented, but she has only cultivated the first level to perfection. It will be extremely difficult for her to break through. Actually, I feel that you can try to train in an offensive type of mental cultivation method, Lin Yi suggested. Sometimes, making some changes might not be a bad thing. I've thought about it, but every family's mental cultivation method is confidential. Why would they let an outsider like me train in it? Sun Ikai smiled bitterly. Also, the mental cultivation method of the Sun family is very special. As long as you train in it, the qi that is introduced into your body will be automatically converted by the mental cultivation method. I'm afraid it's not very practical to train in other mental cultivation methods. I'm just saying. You'll have to rely on yourself for the details. Lin Yi patted Ikai's shoulder. All right, I won't disturb your time. Wuxia Tian has been looking over here many times. Don't cause trouble for House Sun because of me. Chen Tian doesn't have a brain, just deal with him appropriately. Alright, thanks for the reminder. Sun Ikai stood up and walked over to Chen Tian. Shirhan, on the other hand, had ended her conversation with Xiao Xiao. After all, this was her celebration banquet. She didn't want to, but she had to go. She couldn't just sit here and talk to Xiao Xiao alone. During this time, Feng Sanhuang had been watching the scene coldly. When Zhao Qibing came to cause trouble for Su Shirhan, he didn't make a move. From his perspective, as long as it didn't exceed a certain limit, he wouldn't make a move in public. Of course, with Lin Yi's help, there was no need for Feng Sanhuang to make a move. However, Feng Sanhuang took Lin Yi very seriously. He decided to report Lin Yi's situation to his master when he had time. Zhao Qibing's face was very dark. He didn't think that Shirhan and Lin Yi would be together. Seeing Shirhan and Xiao Xiao talking intimately, Zhao Qibing knew that he had no chance at all. In terms of medical skills, Lin Yi wasn't weaker than Yao Wang. In fact, he was even better. Although Zhao Qibing didn't want to admit it, he had to. With Lin Yi's interference, he wouldn't have the chance to get intimate with Xiao Xiao anymore. Ruining my good time. Zhao Qibing gritted his teeth. Master Bing, she's just a celebrity, let's just forget about it. Sihua was a little afraid now. This matter involved Lin Yi, and he didn't dare to fight head-on. He could only clench his teeth and give up. What else can I do? Zhao Qibing felt very useless. I don't know what my dad is thinking, it's just a small Lin Yi. It's fine if he just sent people to kill him, but he actually kept him alive until now. The head of the house has his own difficulties. Although he's the head of the house in name, there's still the head of the house, so. Sihua said vaguely. It wasn't a secret that the head of the house didn't like Zhao Qibing. Old fart, I'm his grandson, and he doesn't like me. Zhao Qibing knew the reason as well. He humphed unhappily. Because of the conflict between Lin Yi and Zhao Qibing, the celebration ended peacefully. Those who wanted to get close to Shirhan didn't have such thoughts anymore. Looking at Shirhan, who was surrounded by the crowd, Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao only waved at her from afar and left. Zhao Fafa had been looking for Tang Yun's information these 2 days. He spent money to hire a few housewives. They were the type of people who liked to chat with others when they had nothing better to do. Zhao Fafa asked them to find out where Tang Yun lived and her family's situation. Zhao Fafa was humiliated, and naturally, he wasn't happy. As far as he was concerned, he was the #1 young master in Songshan. How could he not handle a girl? One had to know that House Zhao's backing was very strong. Soon, Zhao Fafa got all the information about Tang Yun's family from these housewives. After all, there weren't many beautiful teenage girls in the area. With these housewives' information, it was very easy to lock onto Tang Yun. And so, Tang Yun's complete information was out. Mrs. Tang loved to brag, so when she chatted with the housewives, it was only natural for her to spill the beans about her family's affairs. She didn't even know that she was being interrogated. Tang Yun, 18 years old, Songshan's first high school's third-year student. Her parents were unemployed, and they used to work in an electronics factory in Songshan. After the electronics factory was restructured, Mrs. Tang was laid off, and Mr. Tang was bedridden due to work injury. It was only this year that Tang Yun's family met a rich man, and the Tang family's life got better. Zhao Fafa's face turned cold as he looked at Tang Yun's information. He thought she was some rich girl, but it turned out to be a Cinderella, but someone else beat her to it. You're just a bitch, and I thought you were so noble. Zhao Fafa smiled coldly. Wait till I find out your man's background, then I'll play you to death. How dare you give me that attitude? Who do you think I, Zhao Fafa, am? Chapter 1304. Soon, Lin Yi's information was sent to Zhao Fafa's phone. Zhao Fafa's friend was also the son of a small boss. He had some money in his pocket, but he didn't have much influence in the school. After all, Songshan's first school was full of talents, rich people, and young masters. People like Zhou Ruoming and Zhong Pingyang were the most influential people in the school. As a result, there was a limit to what they could find out about Lin Yi. Only Ruoming, Pinliang, and the others knew about the deeper details, and they couldn't possibly tell anyone about it. They wouldn't let people laugh at them if they knew about it. One of the new Big Four had an affair with many school beauties. Was he good at fighting? Did you beat up a gangster boss in school? Zhao Fafa looked at the information on the phone and mumbled. It seems like this kid is a bit tricky, I need to get help. The information wasn't detailed, so Zhao Fafa thought that Lin Yi was just a rich young master. Although he was good at fighting, he thought that 2 fists couldn't fight against 4 hands. He just needed to scare Lin Yi a bit, and he would use both kindness and force. This kid wouldn't be so stupid. Since he had an affair with many school beauties, he wouldn't care about Tang Yun anymore. Even if he asked him to give up, it shouldn't be a problem, right? With that thought, Zhao Fafa called his follower, Sun Xiaoxing. Sun Xiaoxing was Zhao Fafa's follower, and they grew up together. Zhao Fafa's family became rich, but Sun Xiaoxing's family was still poor, so Sun Xiaoxing became Zhao Fafa's follower. Zhao Fafa's confidence was inflated. Naturally, he wanted a certain amount of power, and so he sent Sun Xiaoxing to join the underworld. Although Sun Xiaoxing was a latecomer, he used Zhao Fafa's money to recruit many underlings. Of course, these followers were just small gangsters. They couldn't be compared to the big gangs. But even so, Zhao Fafa felt that it was enough to find some people to scare Lin Yi. From his point of view, Lin Yi was just a student. No matter how good he was nothing in front of people like Sun Xiaoxing. Xiaoxing, where are you? Fafa asked. Brother Zhao, I'm at Uncle Zhao's construction site. Just now, there were a few little bastards who came here to collect the number, but they were chased away by me. Sun Xiaoxing said. Not bad. I didn't expect you to be so awesome now. You can even protect my father. Zhao Fafa was very pleased with himself. It seemed like his plan was right. He raised a gang leader, and his family would have someone to protect them from now on. It's all thanks to Brother Zhao's good training. Sun Xiaoxing said. How many times have I told you, call me Fa bro, don't call me Zhao bro. Zhao Fafa was dissatisfied with the way Sun Xiaoxing addressed him. He was more satisfied with the way Sun Xiaoxing called him Fa bro, yes, brother Fa. But this title is a bit awkward. Sun Xiaoxing said. It doesn't matter if it's awkward or not, just do it. Zhao Fafa humphed. Are you done over there? If you are, help me teach someone a lesson. Teach someone a lesson. Which idiot offended you, Fa bro? Sun Xiaoxing asked without any surprise. This wasn't the first time he helped Zhao Fafa with something like this. Sun Xiaoxing understood that Zhao Fafa wanted him to go to the underworld to solve some problems for him. It's a student, from Songshan's first school. I'll call him out and scare him a little. Zhao Fafa said. I don't think you need to do anything. Just call all your underlings over and stand there. I think he'll be scared to death. Alright, no problem. Songshan's first school, right? I'll go over now. Sun Xiaoxing was relieved after hearing that the person was just a student. Same plan as before. Find a good restaurant nearby and have a meal with him. Zhao Fafa ordered. Every time Zhao Fafa wanted to teach someone a lesson, he would arrange for a high-class restaurant to have a meal with the excuse that he was inviting the person to have a meal. Naturally, the person would pay for the meal after the meal. Zhao Fafa wanted to teach someone a lesson, but Zhao Fafa wanted to teach someone a lesson. Although Zhao Fafa wasn't poor, he enjoyed the feeling of taking advantage of a sucker. He parked the car in front of Songshan's first school's entrance. Zhao Fafa got off the car and walked in. Since Zhao Fafa was young, the guards didn't mind him. They thought that he was a student and didn't stop him. Zhao Fafa entered the school smoothly and found his underling, Wuxia. Which class is that brat from? Bring me to him. Zhao Fafa said arrogantly. Today, he combed his hair to the back, just like the god of gamblers in the movies. Yes, Fa bro. Wuxia quickly nodded. Fa bro, you're getting more and more handsome. You're so cool. Ha, you really know how to talk. Don't worry, I won't forget about you. I'll bring that kid to have a feast later. Come with me. Zhao Fafa was overjoyed by Wuxia's praise. Wuxia was a second-year student. He brought Zhao Fafa to the classroom of 12th year class 5. Fa bro, this is the place. Lin Yi is in this class. Ask him to come out. Zhao Fafa nodded. He felt that it would be inappropriate for him to ask Lin Yi out himself. It was better to let Wuxia do it. Lin Yi, come out for a second. Wuxia didn't hesitate and yelled at the classroom door. He had Zhao Fafa to take care of this, so he wasn't afraid of anything. Lin Yi heard that someone was looking for him at the door, but he didn't care. He walked out of the classroom and looked at the two people at the door. He felt that one of them looked familiar. Wasn't this the guy who claimed to be one of the 4 young masters of Songshan? You're looking for me. Lin Yi didn't expect this guy to come looking for him. You're Lin Yi? Zhao Fafa asked arrogantly. Yes. What's the matter? Lin Yi asked back. Come with me, I'll treat you to a meal. We'll talk about something. Zhao Fafa said to Lin Yi. Treat me to a meal. Talk about something. Lin Yi looked at Zhao Fafa suspiciously. Would he be so kind as to treat him to a meal? Lin Yi didn't believe it at all. According to Lin Yi's estimation, this kid was looking for trouble. Treating him to a meal was just an excuse. Chapter 1305. Yes, I was too reckless last time, so I'll be the host this time. Let's talk about what happened last time. Zhao Fafa nodded. Alright, let's go. Lin Yi nodded. BSP, Zhao Fafa didn't expect Lin Yi to be so easygoing. He was overjoyed and quickly led the way with Wu Liuqi, leaving the school with Lin Yi. When they reached the school gate, Zhao Fafa realized that there was a ticket on his car. The school gate was a no-parking zone, and Lin Yi had parked his car at the food street behind the school. Naturally, he wouldn't park his car here. Zhao Fafa was a bit pissed. It wasn't about the ticket, it was about his face. His car got a ticket in front of Lin Yi. It made him feel embarrassed, as if he didn't know the rules. Fa bro, who posted this? Wu Liuqi saw Zhao Fafa's unhappy face and immediately guessed what he was thinking. He ran to the car and tore the ticket off, throwing it on the ground. Lin Yi saw the ticket, but he was too lazy to expose Zhao Fafa and Wu Liuqi's fake behavior. Liuqi, this is a sports car. It can only take 2 people. You can follow behind in a taxi. Zhao Fafa turned his head. Sure, no problem. Wu Liuqi wanted to get close to Zhao Fafa. He knew that Zhao Fafa was rich now, and he had a powerful relative. So eating was a small matter. His family was well off, and he didn't lack a meal. The key was to please Zhao Fafa. Looking at Lin Yi getting into his car alone, Zhao Fafa was overjoyed. This kid was really dumb. Did he really think that he was going to treat him to a meal? What an idiot. When Sun Xiaoxing brought people to the room, he would be scared to death. Sun Xiaoxing chose the most expensive restaurant in Songshan, Tyrant Fish. It was one of the most expensive restaurants in Songshan. The price was not any lower than Starlight Hotel. Zhao Fafa parked his car in front of Tyrant Fish and entered the restaurant with Lin Yi. Welcome. As soon as the 3 of them entered the door, a waitress bowed politely and greeted them. It could be seen that the service here was top-notch. Looking at the waitress's appearance and height, one could tell that the quality of this place was not low. The decoration of this place was not inferior to that of the Starlight Hotel. Lin Yi had never been here before, but he'd heard Xiao Xiao mention it before. The girl had always wanted to have a feast here, but she didn't have the money or the opportunity. It was quite a pity that he didn't bring Xiao Xiao here today. One of Xiao Xiao's greatest joys in life was eating delicacies. She probably had one less day to eat, and so she was very familiar with all the food cities in Songshan. Room 588. Zhao Fafa said proudly to the waitress. We've made a reservation. Did Mr. Sun make a reservation? Please follow me. The waiter said after checking the PDA on his palm. Looking at the advanced equipment in the hands of the waiter, one could also indirectly reflect the level of this place. After Lin Yi, Zhao Fafa, and Wu Liuqi entered the room, Sun Xiaoxing was already waiting inside, but his men hadn't arrived yet. Zhao Fafa planned to let Lin Yi order the dishes and talk for a while before calling Sun Xiaoxing's men to scare Lin Yi. If they appeared too early, he was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't dare to order the dishes, and then there wouldn't be any fun in scaring people. Fa bro, you're here. Sun Xiaoxing stood up and said respectfully. And, this is Lin Yi, the main character of this meal. Zhao Fafa pointed at Lin Yi and gave Sun Xiaoxing a look. Lin Yi, welcome. Sun Xiaoxing immediately understood what Zhao Fafa meant. It wasn't the first time he did this. You're the guest, you order the dishes. With that, Sun Xiaoxing passed the menu to Lin Yi, letting him order the dishes. Oh, okay. Lin Yi didn't know what Zhao Fafa was planning, but Lin Yi didn't care. He took the menu and looked at it. The dishes here weren't cheap, and some were ridiculously expensive. Lin Yi was like Xiao Xiao, he took the menu and ordered the expensive dishes. Even if he knew that Zhao Fafa was rich, Lin Yi still wanted to rip him off. Unknowingly, Lin Yi was influenced by Xiao Xiao's style. Otherwise, according to Lin Yi's character, he wouldn't come out to eat with Zhao Fafa. He would grab Zhao Fafa's collar and throw him down the stairs. Seeing how Lin Yi ordered so many expensive dishes, Zhao Fafa's face lit up with joy. Before, he was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't order these expensive dishes. He was thinking of how to persuade Lin Yi to order more expensive dishes. That was the only way to get Lin Yi to pay the bill. But Lin Yi was the first to order the delicacies. It seemed that the kid was a little retarded. He didn't know that he was the one paying for the food, did he? This is all I've ordered. Do you want to add more? Lin Yi passed the menu back to Zhao Fafa and asked. Zhao Fafa looked at Lin Yi's order. Lin Yi ordered almost 200,000 yuan worth of seafood. This made Zhao Fafa very satisfied. Although Zhao Fafa's family was rich, and he drove a sports car, his monthly allowance was only this much. He didn't want to spend so much money on food. Xiaoxing, Liuqi, you guys order more. It's my treat. Just order the expensive dishes. Zhao Fafa passed the menu back to Sun Xiaoxing and Wu Liuqi. Okay. Thank you Fa bro. I won't hold back then. Sun Xiaoxing took the menu knowingly and began to order more dishes that cost more than 100,000 yuan at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Sun Xiaoxing's family was different from Zhao Fafa and Wu Liuqi. His family didn't have much money. Although Zhao Fafa gave him 50,000 yuan every month to develop his business, how could he bear to spend money on food? That money was also used to recruit followers, so how could he let go of such a good opportunity to eat to his heart's content? He ordered some expensive seafood that he couldn't eat normally. He was going to have a good meal later. After Sun Xiaoxing finished ordering, Wu Liuqi also took the menu, but he didn't order more. Instead, he told the waiter to order the same things that Sun Xiaoxing ordered. That's it. Don't be shy. Order whatever you want. Zhao Fafa saw that the two were cooperating, and he was elated. This was great, he ordered 500,000 worth of dishes in one go. Lin Yi was going to have a headache later. Let's see how he pays the bill. Chapter 1306. Fa bro already said that he's treating, why are you guys still being so polite? Lin Yi opened his mouth. How about this, since Fa bro is so passionate, we'll give them 2 more servings of everything they ordered. Yes, sir. The waiter nodded politely. He didn't think that the people in the room couldn't afford the bill at all. He heard that these people came in a Ferrari, how could they not have money? Give me 3 more servings. Zhao Fafa felt that it wasn't enough, so he asked the waiter to give him 1 more. He wanted to kill Lin Yi, he wanted Lin Yi to die. Alright, is there anything else you need? The waiter nodded. No, go and serve the dishes, we need to talk. Zhao Fafa waved his hand, signaling the waiter to leave. After the waiter left, Zhao Fafa looked at Lin Yi with a serious face. Do you know why I asked you to come here? What's the matter? Aren't you treating me to a meal? Is there something else? Lin Yi paused and asked back. Ah. Zhao Fafa didn't expect this person to be so careless. Was he stupid? He was fine, why did he invite him to a meal? Wasn't he bored? Isn't that so? Lin Yi asked. Do you think I'm stupid? Zhao Fafa was in pain. Why was this person so stupid? Normal people would have noticed something at this moment, but this kid seemed to be fine, he didn't even notice the danger in front of him. Seems like it. Otherwise, why would you spend so much money to treat me to a meal? Lin Yi nodded. Fuck. Zhao Fafa heard Lin Yi's words, he was furious. He slammed the table. Kid, I'm telling you, I'm here to talk to you. What happened last time isn't over yet. Oh. Lin Yi nodded. You invited me to dinner just for the matter last time. What happened last time is in the past, and I don't plan to pursue it. You don't have to treat me to a big meal. Zhao Fafa wanted to cry. How could there be such an idiot in this world who didn't understand what was being said? She was threatening him, but he took it as an apology. Why was this person's IQ so low? Alright, I know you feel bad about it, so treat me to a meal. No problem, I accept your kindness. Nothing needs to be said. Lin Yi said. Damn you. Sun Xiaoxing saw the ugly expression on Zhao Fafa's face, he slammed the table and pointed at Lin Yi. Kid, listen up, Fa bro didn't call you here to apologize, he's here to cause you trouble. Find trouble with me? Treating me to a meal is to cause trouble for me. Then I'd rather have more troubles in the future. Lin Yi said indifferently. You. Sun Xiaoxing wanted to cry. Was there something wrong with his speech? Why didn't Lin Yi understand what she was saying? At this moment, there was a knock on the door. The waiter was here to serve the dishes. Now was not the time to eat, and hotels of this level all had prepared food, so it didn't take long for the delicious dishes they had ordered to be served on the table. The waiter's arrival helped Zhao Fafa and Sun Xiaoxing out of the predicament. They were at their wits' end when they met someone like Lin Yi who didn't understand words. In the past, those who were scared were also smart. As long as he gave them a hint, they would be scared witless. However, this kid in front of him, after hinting for a long time, he misunderstood and thought that he really wanted to treat him to a meal. The waiter left after placing the dishes on the table. Zhao Fafa and Sun Xiaoxing, on the other hand, looked at each other. They were thinking about how to continue the conversation with Lin Yi. But before they could speak, Lin Yi spoke first. This crab is really big, it's a giant. I heard it's called king crab, right? Let's eat while it's hot. If you have anything to say, we can talk after the meal. With that, he didn't care about Zhao Fafa and Sun Xiaoxing as he took the crab and started eating. Zhao Fafa and Sun Xiaoxing were speechless. Wu Liuqi, on the other hand, didn't know what was going on and didn't dare to speak. Ahem. Lin Yi, put the crab down first and listen to me. Zhao Fafa looked at Lin Yi eating the crab. He was a little depressed and snorted. Oh, go ahead. I'll listen while I eat. Lin Yi didn't seem to want to put the crab down. Tell me the truth, I like Tang Yun. Give her to me, and I'll let this go. Otherwise, humph. Zhao Fafa said threateningly, but even he himself felt that the threat wasn't as threatening as it sounded out from his mouth. In the past, every time Zhao Fafa scared people, they would be scared and sit there, not moving at all. But now, the person in front of him was Lin Yi, who was stuffing himself with food. It was funny no matter how he looked at it. Oh. Lin Yi replied and continued eating. I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? Zhao Fafa was furious. Kid, Fa bro is talking to you. Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. What do you want? Tell me. Sun Xiaoxing couldn't hold it in anymore. I'm telling you, I'm from the underworld. Don't think that you can do anything just because you have some skills. I can kill you easily. Oh. Lin Yi replied indifferently. Who knew if he heard what Sun Xiaoxing said or not? Kid, did you hear me or not? Zhao Fafa couldn't stand Lin Yi's attitude anymore. Xiaoxing, call people over. Yes. Sun Xiaoxing was waiting for this moment. He was very angry at Lin Yi. He was waiting for Zhao Fafa to call people over to teach Lin Yi a lesson. Sun Xiaoxing's men were already prepared. They were waiting in the room next door. So, when Sun Xiaoxing gave the signal, the men in the room next door rushed into his room. These men were all wearing black shirts and pants. Their hair was dyed in different colors. Although they didn't have any weapons in their hands, their waists were bulging. Obviously, they had a dagger or something like that in their pockets. Zhao bro, Sun bro. These men knew Zhao Fafa. They knew that Zhao Fafa was Sun Xiaoxing's boss. So, they greeted Zhao Fafa as soon as they entered the room. Zhao Fafa frowned. Obviously, he wasn't happy with the name Zhao bro. How many times do I have to tell you? Call me Fa bro or Fa master. Yes, brother Fa. The underlings hurriedly repeated. Chapter 1307. Don't say those useless things. Zhao Fafa heard Lin Yi's inaccurate pronunciation and naturally knew that he was teasing him. He pointed at Lin Yi. See that? If you nod your head today, I'll leave with these people and pretend that nothing happened. If you don't nod your head, then I'm sorry, but you'll have to call for an ambulance. Oh, so you're saying that I'll go to the hospital if I eat too much? Lin Yi pointed at the delicious food on the table. Indeed, there's quite a lot. If I ate all of this, I'd really end up in the hospital. How about this, I'll call my girlfriend and ask her to come eat with us. Lin Yi wanted to call Xiao Xiao. There was so much good food here, he should let her enjoy it. Otherwise, it'd be a waste. Zhao Fafa paused after hearing Lin Yi's words. Call your girlfriend. Wasn't Lin Yi's girlfriend Tang Yun? Could it be that this kid changed his mind and wanted to give Tang Yun to him? This kid wasn't an idiot, he just didn't want to lose face. Was that why he used such a subtle method to get what he wanted? Yes, that was very likely. Zhao Fafa felt that his IQ was too high. He immediately thought of what Lin Yi was thinking. It seemed that his threat was effective. Lin Yi was scared, he just didn't want to lose face. At least you know what's good for you. I thought you were stubborn. Hurry up and make the call, don't waste time. Zhao Fafa thought of Tang Yun's body and felt an itch in his heart. Lin Yi didn't correct Zhao Fafa. He picked up the phone and called Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi honey, where did you go? Why didn't I see you after PE class? Xiao Xiao had just finished her class and was wondering where Lin Yi had gone. Drive to Tyrant Fish Seafood Restaurant right now. Someone's treating us to a seafood feast. Lin Yi said. It's a room reserved by that Sun guy. Okay, I'll go right away. Xiao Xiao agreed immediately. She loved big meals, especially when she was with Lin Yi. It was free. Lin Yi didn't drive before, leaving his car at school. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, had a set of keys, so she could just drive over. Kid, you're pretty smart, aren't you? If that's the case, I won't beat you up. Zhao Fafa waved his hand and gestured to the people in the room. Everyone, sit down and eat. This kid is still on the right path. Thank you, Fa bro. When these people saw all kinds of delicious seafood on the table, their eyes were about to turn green. Previously, they were in another private room, only drinking tea and waiting for orders. There was nothing to eat at all. Moreover, it was rare for them to eat such delicious food. At this moment, their eyes were shining with desire to eat. Wait. Just as these people were about to sit down, Lin Yi waved his hand and stopped them. If they eat, what about my girlfriend? Didn't you come here for nothing? Fafa blinked. That's right, how could Tang Yin eat with a bunch of vulgar people when she's here? What's more, Tang Yun was about to become his woman, so he had to treat Tang Yun even better. Alright, you guys stand here for a bit. I'll treat you later. Zhao Fafa waved his hand and gestured for them to continue standing. Although these people were a little disappointed, they didn't dare to argue with Zhao Fafa. After all, their money was supported by Zhao Fafa, so they could only stand aside obediently. Very soon, there was a knock on the door. Zhao Fafa was very excited. He couldn't wait for Tang Yun anymore. He waved his hand, and one of his men opened the door. But the person who came in made Zhao Fafa pause. It wasn't Tang Yun, but another girl. She was pretty, but Zhao Fafa was obsessed with Tang Yun these days. He wouldn't give up until he got what he wanted. You are. Zhao Fafa looked at the person weirdly. Did she knock on the wrong door? Lin Yi, honey, you really are here. Xiao Xiao didn't even bother with Zhao Fafa. When she saw Lin Yi, she excitedly ran over and sat beside Lin Yi. She looked at the food on the table and exclaimed, "There's so much good food." Yeah, hurry up and eat. Let's eat together. Lin Yi put a giant crab on Xiao Xiao's plate. Sure, sure. Xiao Xiao didn't care. She was a little suspicious of the atmosphere in the room, but with Lin Yi here, she didn't have to worry about anything. Since Lin Yi told her to eat, she was ready to eat. Lin Yi. Didn't you say your girlfriend was here? What's going on? Are you messing with me? Zhao Fafa couldn't take it anymore as he looked at the couple who only had food in their eyes. He slammed the table and roared, "Where's Tang Yun? I didn't say Tang Yun was coming. Isn't she my girlfriend?" Lin Yi pointed at Xiao Xiao innocently. Her. Isn't your girlfriend Tang Yun? Zhao Fafa frowned. Tang Yun sis is the first wife, and I'm the second wife. What's wrong with that? Oh, right, who are you? Xiao Xiao looked at Zhao Fafa strangely after explaining. She didn't know who this guy was. Oh, he's the one who's treating us. Lin Yi said. Ignore him. He's too rich to spend. He's treating us. Oh, there's an idiot like him in this world. He's so dumb. Xiao Xiao nodded and started eating the crab. Eat? Eat my ass. I'm the one who's going to kill you. You're toying with me. Zhao Fafa finally realized that Lin Yi had been toying with him all along. This guy wasn't an idiot at all. He underestimated him. I'm not toying with you. I've been telling you the truth, but you didn't believe me, Lin Yi said. Alright, take a seat first. My girlfriend and I are going to eat. Beat him up. Zhao Fafa was really pissed now. He pointed at Lin Yi and ordered his men at the door. You talk too much. Lin Yi threw a crab shell at Zhao Fafa's mouth. The crab shell wasn't sharp, but with Lin Yi's strength, it stuck around Zhao Fafa's mouth and sealed his mouth. Chapter 1308. Everyone was scared. Zhao bro, what's wrong? Sun Xiaoxing saw that Zhao Fafa was hit by a crab shell and jumped up. Don't call me Zhao bro. Call me Fa bro. Zhao Fafa said with a trembling voice. Okay. Fa bro, what's wrong? Sun Xiaoxing thought. Why was he still thinking about how to address him at this time? He was in a hurry, and he was used to calling him Zhao bro. Beat him up. Zhao Fafa didn't expect Lin Yi to attack first. He pointed at Lin Yi and ordered. Beat him up. Sun Xiaoxing heard Zhao Fafa's words and jumped up to order his men. Sun Xiaoxing's men were ready to attack, but they didn't know what to do after Lin Yi injured Zhao Fafa so suddenly. However, Sun Xiaoxing wouldn't make a move. He wasn't good at fighting. He only came out to recruit followers because he borrowed Zhao Fafa's money to get some followers. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. A few crab legs flew out and pierced the faces of the men who were going to teach Lin Yi a lesson. The face was one of the most sensitive parts of the human body. Lin Yi's crab legs pierced through the men's faces, and they screamed in pain. "Wow, Lin Yi honey, you're so strong," Xiao Xiao said excitedly. "But you should have pierced their eyes." Wah! The underlings, who were in so much pain, were planning on beating Lin Yi to death after pulling out the crab legs, but they froze upon hearing Xiao Xiao's words, cold sweat dripping down their foreheads. Pierce their eyes? Wouldn't that make them blind? Earlier, they were blinded by the pain and didn't think much about it. But now, they suddenly remembered that Lin Yi's aim was very good. The crab shell flew into Zhao Fafa's mouth in an instant, and these crab legs seemed to be very casual, but they were all accurate. Every crab leg hit the target. Therefore, these subordinates immediately calmed down. It was true that these people usually fought and bullied the weak, but it didn't mean that they weren't afraid of getting hurt. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary injury, it was blinding. If the crab's leg was stuck in his eye, he would definitely go blind without a doubt. There was no chance of luck at all. That makes sense. "Let's stab the eye sockets then," Lin Yi said as he picked up a few crab legs from the table. "Run!" The man in front immediately started to retreat. He turned around and ran. He was the person closest to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi threw a crab leg, it would probably hit his eye first. With the first deserter, the others were naturally discouraged. These hooligans who had their faces pierced by the crab's foot ran faster than the other. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from the room without a trace. It was true that these people took Zhao Fafa's money, but it was fine for them to eat, drink, and play. It was fine to scare the weak occasionally, but it was impossible for them to die or get injured. They weren't idiots. If they didn't run now, when would they run? And so, in an instant, only Zhao Fafa, Sun Xiaoxing, and Wu Liuqi were left in the room. Sun Xiaoxing's face was very ugly. He didn't think that his sworn brothers would be so disloyal, running away in a blink of an eye. How could he face Zhao Fafa like this? At this time, the crab shell on Zhao Fafa's face was taken off. His face was full of blood, but it wasn't life-threatening. Zhao Fafa's face was filled with fear. This was the first time he was humiliated since he was crowned as one of the Songzhan Four Young Masters. In the past, he didn't need to say anything to threaten people, and they would be scared shitless. This was the first time he met someone like Lin Yi. "Wu Liuqi, is this the result of your investigation? Why is this Lin Yi so strong?" Zhao Fafa wanted to cry. If he knew that Lin Yi was this ruthless, he wouldn't have thought of doing anything to him. But now that he was humiliated, he had to take revenge. Bro, Lin Yi is only good at fighting alone in school. I've never heard of him using hidden weapons. Wu Liuqi's face was bitter. Lin Yi was famous in school, but that was only in fighting alone. Heibao Bro, Pin Liang, and Zhou Ruoming all suffered losses, but Wu Liuqi didn't know about this. He didn't even know the difference between golden class masters, and it was impossible for him to know about the conflicts between Lin Yi, Pin Liang, and Zhou Ruoming. He only saw the surface, but he realized that he was wrong. "Lin Yi, I admit that you're better, but it's a small world. This isn't over yet." Zhao Fafa knew that he wouldn't be able to get back at Lin Yi today. He said those words and wanted to leave. From his point of view, Lin Yi wouldn't dare to do anything to him. He was someone with a strong background. Would Lin Yi kill him in front of everyone? "Wait, pay the bill first," Lin Yi said faintly. It seemed like he didn't want Zhao Fafa to stay at all. "Pay the bill. Lin Yi, don't push me too far." Zhao Fafa's face turned cold as he looked at Lin Yi with hatred. He didn't even have the intention to pay the bill. This concept didn't exist in his dictionary. From his point of view, it was already good enough that he didn't cause trouble for Lin Yi today. Asking him to pay the bill. Push you? Am I pushing you? You're the one who invited me here, aren't you? Lin Yi picked up a crab shell and looked at Zhao Fafa with a smile that wasn't a smile. Lin Yi honey, you want to throw crab shells again? Alright, throw them on his butt this time. Xiao Xiao said. Zhao Fafa's face darkened. He didn't expect Xiao Xiao to be so evil. She actually used such a dirty trick. He looked at the crab shell in Lin Yi's hand again. Zhao Fafa was really afraid that Lin Yi would throw it out if he didn't like it. Fine. I'll pay. Zhao Fafa gritted his teeth. He decided to endure it today, but there was still time. Zhao Fafa endured the pain in his mouth and asked Sun Xiaoxing to call the waiter. He paid the bill in front of Lin Yi and snorted before leaving the room. Before leaving, Zhao Fafa swore in his heart that he would return the humiliation today 100 times. He was a man with a strong backing. In front of his distant cousin, this Lin Yi was just a piece of trash. All the young masters in Songshan had to give face to his cousin. Zhao Fafa finally felt better after thinking about it. From his point of view, Lin Yi was already someone he could do whatever he wanted to him. Chapter 1309. Ling Shan was troubled. How can it be fine? Why don't you put a crab shell on your mouth? Zhao Fafa couldn't help but get angry. You useless piece of trash, these are the men you hired. Dropping the ball at the most crucial moment, giving you 100,000 every month for these ungrateful bastards. Sun Xiaoxing blushed. Fa bro, you can't blame them, you can only blame that Lin Yi kid for being too cruel. Humph. Cruel. I didn't want to ask my cousin for help, but Lin Yi forced me to do it, so don't blame me for being merciless. If my cousin does it, Lin Yi will be crippled even if he doesn't die. Zhao Fafa snorted. Sir, what happened to you? The waiter saw the blood on Zhao Fafa's mouth and quickly reported it to the hotel manager. Since Zhao Fafa was a regular here, the manager took it very seriously. He ran over directly to show his concern for Zhao Fafa. But he didn't know that Zhao Fafa was still holding his anger. He replied angrily after hearing the manager's question. I cut myself on the crab, can't I? Why are you so nosy? What does it have to do with you? The manager was confused by Zhao Fafa's scolding, feeling depressed. He wanted to comfort Zhao Fafa, but he got scolded instead. Then, Mister, please have a safe journey. The manager could only turn to Zhao Fafa with a smile on his face. In the room, Lin Yi watched as Xiao Xiao gobbled down the food, and he couldn't get tired of it. He didn't know when it started, but watching Xiao Xiao eat had become a pleasure for Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao was a girl who didn't put on airs, and she didn't try to be polite when eating. She loved to eat, and she didn't care about the small things. But because of Xiao Xiao's straightforwardness, Lin Yi liked her more and more. Don't eat too much, we'll take it back later. Lin Yi said. Seafood is a cold type of food. If you eat it right, it will increase the yin energy in your body, and it will cause illness. I don't have long to live anyway. If I don't eat more of my favorite food, it'll be a great loss if I die. Xiao Xiao said nonchalantly, but then sighed, man, forget it, I won't eat it. I don't want to die this early, I haven't lived enough yet. I'm really happy to be with you guys every day. Hee hee, then let's pack it up. Lin Yi said, we can still have a meal at night. Yes. I'll listen to you. Xiao Xiao nodded. Right, Lin Yi honey, what's with that Zhao Fafa? Him. Lin Yi told Xiao Xiao about Zhao Fafa's situation. Lin Yi didn't care about a small fry like this at all. He came with him today because he had nothing better to do, and he could even bring Xiao Xiao to a free meal. In fact, it wasn't that Lin Yi couldn't afford the meal, but it was because he was in a different mood. Bringing Xiao Xiao to a free meal made her very excited and happy. This girl really liked to trick people. Ha, so that's how it is. Lin Yi honey, you know how to trick people now. Xiao Xiao laughed. Didn't I learn it from you? Lin Yi smiled. Unknowingly, Lin Yi's personality was changing as well. He was influenced by the people around him, and he was different from before. Ling Shan had been very busy these days, and according to Huaichuan's analysis, she'd shifted her focus to the marketplace, sending a large number of police officers to all sorts of industries. There was only one direction to investigate, and that was whether or not someone had been offering high rewards to trick people into doing things for them. With a direction to investigate, the results weren't a problem. Very soon, the investigation teams all came back with news, and all the clues pointed to one place: underground fighting arenas. After an investigation by the police, they found that there were indeed people looking for waiters, truck drivers, temporary workers, hotel security guards, construction workers, and so on to have a go at it. They offered a very high price tag, with a reward of 100,000 to 200,000. For many people, it was a certain temptation. Of course, not everyone took the bait, or there wouldn't be all these clues. Ling Shan looked at the reports on the table, and finally, she felt like the dark clouds had been pushed aside, and she could see the clear sky. There was finally a clue to this case. With this important clue, the rest would be much simpler. She just needed to find the location of the arena. But, this arena. Ling Shan had never heard of it before, so it should be a new illegal place. Ding ding ding. Ling Shan was flipping through the reports when she heard a knock on the door. Ling Shan didn't think much about it and said casually, "Come in." Ling Shan, are you busy? Do you have time tonight? Want to have dinner together? It was Xie Yufeng, who had left the school temporarily. He didn't have the face to stay in school anymore after what happened that day. Yes, I'm busy. Ling Shan replied faintly, there's a case, and I have to work overtime tonight. Forget about dinner, we'll talk about it another day. Ling Shan didn't have a good attitude towards Yufeng, but she didn't want to completely piss him off. House Yu was a place that House Song couldn't afford to offend at the moment, and she didn't want to bring trouble to her house because of her stubbornness. She could only force herself to play along, hoping that Yufeng would back off. Is that so? Another day is fine then. Yufeng didn't force her. He sat on the sofa across from Ling Shan. Did you get into some trouble? Do you need help? Just ask, I'll see what I can do. Sorry, the case is confidential. Ling Shan, naturally, wouldn't say much to Yufeng, in case he got involved in her work and life. She wouldn't be able to push him away. Ha! I'm just saying. Yufeng felt a little awkward after hearing that, but there was nothing he could do about it. Ling Shan's confidential made him stop asking. I'm going to a meeting now, Mr. Yu, please help yourself. Ling Shan said. She didn't want Yufeng to stay in her office any longer. Alright, I'll be going then. I'll come find you when you're done with your work. Yufeng didn't say much, standing up and leaving the office. Yufeng was very experienced when it came to picking up girls, and he had his own way of dealing with cold beauties like Ling Shan. That was to keep on pestering her. But he couldn't chase her too tightly. As long as he was shameless, he'd succeed. Chapter 13:10. Ling Shan didn't even have the mood to get up and send him off. She didn't know why, but seeing Yufeng made her feel uncomfortable. She felt that he was too fake, that he didn't give her any sense of security at all. It would be a miracle if she had feelings for him. Then, she thought of Lin Yi. They were both men, but Lin Yi gave her a completely different feeling. She didn't have a good impression of Lin Yi at first, but that was only limited to the annoyance towards Lin Yi. It was the type where she wanted to fight with Lin Yi whenever she saw him, but it wasn't the type where she hated Lin Yi from the bottom of her heart. Yufeng, on the other hand, was more like disgust. She didn't even want to look at him for a second longer. Now that she thought about it, Lin Yi was very direct sometimes, and didn't know how to make her like him, but she really liked his honest way of speaking. Just thinking about Lin Yi made her heart uneasy. She didn't know why, but she wanted to give Lin Yi a call. Just hearing his voice would make her feel better. Ling Shan didn't know if this counted as falling in love with Lin Yi, but she did know that ever since he saved her from the kidney trafficking company's basement, her mentality had changed. She'd given up on everything, and at the same time, she'd become attached to Lin Yi. The call went through, and she felt a little nervous. What was she supposed to say to Lin Yi? Should she say that she missed him? He'd probably call her Miss Braindead or Miss Idiot if she said that. Hello? Miss Song. What's up? Lin Yi's impression of Ling Shan was slowly changing. The two were friends now, and Lin Yi naturally couldn't call her Miss Braindead or Miss Idiot, but calling her Ling Shan or Shan Shan wasn't something he could bring himself to do. Calling her Miss Song would make them feel distant, too. So Lin Yi just changed it to Miss Song. Oh. There's something. Ling Shan was very happy. It seemed that she'd improved in Lin Yi's impression of her. She'd gone from being an idiot to a little idiot, and now she was a normal girl. Not bad, not bad. What is it? Hurry up and tell me, I'm driving. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao had just come out of the Tyrant Fish seafood restaurant and were on their way to school. It's like this. Didn't I tell you before about the missing people? Recently, there's been a lot of people from all walks of life disappearing mysteriously. Ling Shan said. According to my investigation, it's probably an underground boxing ring that's tricking these people into boxing. So, I wanted to ask you if you know anything about the underground boxing ring. I don't know. Lin Yi said subconsciously before pausing. Wait, what did you say? Underground boxing ring? Yeah, you know about it? Ling Shan asked happily. She'd sent people to investigate, but there was no news about the underground boxing ring. But this wasn't a surprise. Jiang Wen's underground boxing ring had passed the initial stage of promotion, and there was no need for that anymore. It was full of customers every day, and the regulars would introduce themselves to each other. The business would only get better and better, and there was no need for promotion. Boxing was illegal in the first place, and so these people wouldn't talk about it casually. They wouldn't tell people they weren't familiar with either. It was only natural that Ling Shan couldn't find anything. I know, but I'll ask around for the specifics. Wait for my call, Lin Yi said. Ling Shan's words reminded Lin Yi of the person who gave out the flyers, and then Gooden barged into the ring himself and finished off that fighterly with one punch. Finding the location of the underground boxing ring wasn't a hard thing for Lin Yi. Okay, I'll wait for your call then. Ling Shan was so happy that she wanted to cheer. Lin Yi really was her lucky star. One phone call was all it took to find a clue. Lin Yi was so awesome. Every time there was a problem, she could find the answer with Lin Yi. Hanging up the phone, Ling Shan stretched lazily. Her seductive posture was enough to mesmerize anyone, but no one was able to see it. She would only show this expression in front of Lin Yi, after all. Her usual self was that of someone who'd been through a lot. Gooden didn't have a phone, but Yuan Yuan did. He'd been hanging out with Yuan Yuan these days, and Lin Yi didn't interfere. Gooden wouldn't be staying in Songshan for long, and he'd have to go back to West Star Village for sure. He finally found a love, and Lin Yi didn't want to disturb them. Gooden's mission was done, and the potion was sent over. Lin Yi had planned to take him around the city to play, but Gooden would be more than happy to play with Yuan Yuan now. After getting the address, Lin Yi called Ling Shan again. Miss Song, remember the address, okay? Okay. Ling Shan didn't expect Lin Yi to get the answer so quickly. She nodded and took out a pen and paper. Tell me, the address is. Lin Yi told her the address. The opponent might have a master in the arena. There was a mystic physical practitioner before, but my friend killed him. I don't know if there's still one left. Just plan first. Oh. They have a mystic. Ling Shan didn't expect that there would be a master like that in an arena. I heard that it was a fighter in charge, but he's dead now. Don't worry, I'm just worried that they still have a master like that. Lin Yi said. Just be careful. I understand. Don't worry, I won't do anything reckless. Hearing Lin Yi's concern filled Ling Shan's heart. She was so happy that she didn't know where she was anymore. If they really do have a master, give me a call, and I'll go help you. Lin Yi said after a sigh. With their current relationship, Lin Yi couldn't just watch Ling Shan do something dangerous. Lin Yi didn't want to be a busybody, but he still reminded her. Alright, I got it. Ling Shan said, smiling happily. Chapter 13:11. Free spokesperson. However, less than 15 minutes after Lin Yi hung up, his phone rang again. Lin Yi thought it was Ling Shan, so he picked it up without looking. Little girl, what's up? Ah. Little girl. The person on the other side of the phone paused. Huh. Lin Yi could tell that it wasn't Ling Shan's voice. Too, you are, I'm not little girl. I'm Su Shihan. Shihan was speechless. Why was this guy so vulgar? Calling someone little girl just because he picked up the phone. If she didn't know Lin Yi's personality, she would have thought he was a pervert. Oh, that's little girl too. Little girl Su, what's up? Lin Yi said casually, not expecting Shihan to call him. Su Shihan was speechless. But whatever, so be it. She really was a little girl, wasn't she? Shihan didn't care about the title. You said you'd help me make some headache medicine. I'm free today, so I'll go get it and take a picture with your friends. Shihan's concert in Songshan had ended, and she was preparing to go to another city to continue her concert. So before she left, she wanted to say goodbye to Lin Yi and get some headache medicine. These few days, Shihan's manager, Wang Sis, had contacted Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company and told them that Shihan was going to be a free spokesperson. Fatty Lai was confused at first. A superstar that couldn't be hired even with money, why did she want to be a spokesperson for free? And so, Fatty Lai suspected Wang Sis's identity. Was she a scammer? But after Wang Sis's explanation, Fatty Lai realized that Shihan was Lin Yi's patient. Wang Sis didn't hide Su Shihan's illness from Fatty Lai. Lin Yi and Xuemin both knew about it, so there was no need to hide it from Fatty Lai. Fatty Lai finally understood. It was because of this. So, Fatty Lai didn't feel like he owed Su Shihan anything by letting her be the spokesperson for free. How much could the endorsement fee be? One had to know that when Lin Yi treated patients with difficult-to-treat diseases, he would charge at least 10 million yuan. And so, Fatty Lai called Su Shihan over and ordered her around, shooting promotional videos, shooting as many as he could. He even changed the packaging of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine to a new one, with Su Shihan's picture on it. They even added a slogan, "Do you want to have the flawless skin of a superstar? Please use Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine to heal the wound perfectly without leaving a scar." Even Wang Sis couldn't stand it anymore. Since when did Su Shihan get ordered around like a servant? Even with such a high endorsement fee, they didn't shoot so many commercials and films. Wasn't this treating people too lightly? But Su Shihan smiled and shook her head, indicating that it was nothing. Su Shihan felt that since Lin Yi treated her as a friend and treated her for free, she should return the favor. Since they were friends, there was no need to be calculative. And Su Shihan felt that the people around Lin Yi were the same as him. They didn't treat superstars as anything. She was pretty and cute, but this fatty Lai acted like he didn't see her at all, talking to her with his eyes rolling around, thinking of ways to squeeze all of her value out of her. Of course, what Su Shihan didn't know was that fatty Lai had already treated her as Lin Yi's spare tire. Who knew when she would become his official girlfriend? Fatty Lai wouldn't have any thoughts about his sister-in-law. But, Miracle Dr. Guan's painkiller hadn't been mass-produced yet. There were only a few samples in the company. If Su Shihan wanted it, she would have to get it from Lin Yi. Today. That's good. Lin Yi didn't have anything to do. I bought a bunch of seafood from the restaurant. Come eat with us. Seafood? Su Shihan froze, but she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Okay, tell me the address. I'll go there now. The address is Sea View Villa Bay. Lin Yi told Su Shihan the address. If you can't find it, use the GPS. Okay, wait for me. It was rare for Su Shihan to have a friend, and they didn't have any ulterior motives. This made Su Shihan feel at ease playing with them. Otherwise, it would be hard for Su Shihan to have a close friend. Most women approached her because of her aura, while men approached her because they wanted dirty things. But Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao were different. Both of them were nice, and after interacting with Fatty Lai, Su Shihan realized that Lin Yi's friends were nice as well. The friends Lin Yi wanted to take photos with were probably nice too. Otherwise, with Lin Yi's arrogant personality, it would be hard for him to accept others. After hanging up, Xiao Xiao asked impatiently, Lin Yi honey, is Su Shihan coming? Yeah. She'll come to get the medicine later. You guys can play together. Lin Yi seemed to think that Su Shihan coming to his house was a normal thing. If it were someone else, they'd be excited when a celebrity came to their house. That's great. Then we'll sing karaoke at home and let Su Shihan sing for us. Xiao Xiao said excitedly. I'll call Tang Yun sis right now. We'll go get her. Lin Yi wasn't a fan, so he didn't understand how Su Shihan's fans felt. Xiao Xiao told the exciting news to Meng Yao and Yushu as soon as they got home. Tang Yun was happy too, but she wasn't as lively as Xiao Xiao. She only smiled and greeted Meng Yao and Yushu. Tang Yun had become a regular in the villa, and she didn't feel restricted here. Then should we prepare some food for Su Shihan tonight? Meng Yao was the owner of the villa. She couldn't neglect a guest. What's more, this guest was a superstar. Don't bother, I brought back a bunch of seafood. Lin Yi raised the big bag of food in his hand. I bought it from Tyrant Fish Seafood Restaurant. There was an idiot who treated us today. Idiot? Meng Yao was confused. An idiot who wants to chase after Tang Yun, Lin Yi explained simply, but Lin Yi was too lazy to say anything about Zhao Fafa. Su Shihan came as soon as she said she would. Lin Yi and the others were talking when the doorbell rang. Evidently, Su Shihan was ready to leave after the call. They weren't familiar with the roads, but Lin Yi had to go get Tang Yun for a while. Chapter 13:12. Chapter 13:10, Sadness. Su Shihan didn't wear much this time, probably because she came straight to Lin Yi's place and didn't go anywhere else, so she didn't need to wear anything. Han, you're so pretty today. Xiao Xiao was quite familiar with Su Shihan by now. You're pretty too. Su Shihan smiled. Don't just stand there, come in. The group welcomed Su Shihan in, and Xiao Xiao introduced Yushu, Tang Yun, and Meng Yao to Su Shihan. They're all my good friends, like bosom friends. Of course, Xiao Xiao didn't tell them that Tang Yun was Lin Yi's boyfriend. There was no need to tell an outsider about this sort of thing. For now, Tang Yun's identity was just Lin Yi's good friend. Otherwise, it'd be too complicated. Lin Yi nodded to Su Shihan and took out a bag of painkillers. Here, this should last you a while. Ah. I just got here and you're giving it to me? You're not kicking me out, are you? Su Shihan took the medicine and joked. I'm just afraid I'll forget. Lin Yi said faintly. There's takeaway food in the kitchen, go eat if you're hungry. If there's nothing else, you guys have fun. I'm going back to my room. Lin Yi didn't want to join in the fun with Su Shihan. With a celebrity girl, Lin Yi couldn't think of anything to do with her. Xiao Xiao and the others could ask about Su Shihan's privacy, but Lin Yi wasn't interested at all. In Lin Yi's eyes, Su Shihan was no different from a stranger. Who would be interested in a stranger's privacy? Su Shihan looked at Lin Yi's nonchalant face and couldn't help but roll her eyes. She didn't feel like a celebrity at all here. But it was precisely because of this that Su Shihan didn't have her usual nervousness and vigilance. It was like she was home, she could relax. As for Meng Yao, Tang Yun, and Yushu's questions, Su Shihan basically answered all of them. After all, Su Shihan didn't have anything to hide. Other than a headache, it wasn't a big deal. Xiao Han, do you have a boyfriend? Missy also became a little gossipy. After all, these were the things that the fans were most concerned about. Su Shihan's boyfriend, on the other hand, was the focus of the media. Some fans had tried to match him up, but it was proven that it was just a misunderstanding. Su Shihan had always been single. But, even if she was single, a lot of fans didn't believe it. They all thought that there was an invisible boyfriend behind Su Shihan, it was just that no one noticed. Not yet, hee, I'm really not lying, I'm not lying. Shihan smiled. She knew that they would ask these questions. So you're still a virgin? Yushu's questions were always powerful. Yes. Su Shihan blushed and sighed. Lin Yi's friends were really not ordinary people. Oh, so you really are a pure and innocent girl. Yushu liked Su Shihan even more. Lin Yi listened to the girl's gossipy questions. He couldn't help but shake his head and went back to his room. At night, other than the seafood that Lin Yi brought back from the restaurant, Lin Yi cooked a few more dishes. Although a bunch of seafood was enough, Su Shihan was still a guest. Lin Yi didn't want the Missy and the others to lose face. Su Shihan ate the dishes Lin Yi cooked. She was amazed. She never thought that Lin Yi could cook. And it was so delicious. He was even more professional than her housekeeper. Your cooking is really good. It seems like your friend is lucky. Su Shihan praised. Han, if you like it, come here more often. You're always welcome here. Meng Yao was the owner of the villa. It was a good time to speak. I want to too, Yao Yao, but I won't be staying in Songshan for long. I'll be leaving soon. Shihan said regretfully. But if I'm free, I'll come and play with you guys. It's fun to be with you guys. There's no pressure. That's great. You'll come more often. Yushu said happily. Man, yeah, you have to come, or else I'll die. Xiao Xiao said pitifully. Don't say that. Your boyfriend's medical skills are so good. He'll definitely find a way. Shihan said. I hope so. Xiao Xiao sighed. Alright, let's not talk about this. Let's eat. Lin Yi didn't want to continue on this topic. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. He didn't have a good solution either. He could only take it one step at a time. After dinner, under Yushu's suggestion, the group started singing karaoke. The Miss House's sound system wasn't inferior to a KTV, and the house was decorated with the highest quality appliances. Su Shihan adjusted the sound and was very satisfied with it. At first, Su Shihan sang for everyone, but later on, everyone took turns to sing. What surprised Su Shihan was that everyone's voice was pretty good, not inferior to her own. With a little training, they would have the potential to become stars. Lin Yi sat on the sofa and listened to the girls singing. It was a very warm feeling. This kind of comfortable life was something Lin Yi didn't dare to imagine before. If he thought about this day, Lin Yi wouldn't have rejected Ning, which caused Lin Yi to brood over it until now. But, he missed it. Some things couldn't go back to the past. Plus, the relationship between Lin Yi and House Yu was very tense. Were the hidden House Yu and House Yu on the same side? But no matter what, Lin Yi knew that it was impossible for him to marry Ning right now. The requirements to enter the hidden House Yu were very high, and they had high hopes for Ning. They raised her as a member of House Yu. How could normal people enter House Yu's eyes? Lin Yi was only a golden class, and now he was only a mystic. House Yu, on the other hand, had a sky class. This was also the reason why Lin Yi felt inferior. Not only could he not give Yu Ning a stable life, but he also couldn't fight against House Yu. Thinking about the past, Lin Yi couldn't help but sigh. But, thinking about the life he had now, with Tang Yun by his side and Xiao Xiao as a happy person, Lin Yi didn't regret it. No matter what happened, Tang Yun wouldn't leave him. This was the person who would accompany him for life. A sad song pulled Lin Yi back from his thoughts. It was a classic song, and Xiao Xiao was slowly singing it out of her mouth. Chapter 13:13. Don't cry, my most loved one. Lin Yi raised his head and looked at Xiao Xiao. The atmosphere in the living room quietened down as well. Everyone's emotions were affected by Xiao Xiao. Don't cry, my most loved one. Tonight, I'm like a flower blooming, falling in the most beautiful moment. Your tears can't bring me back. Don't cry, my most loved one, I'll never wake up. Blinking in the most beautiful night, my eyes are the brightest stars. Do you remember when I said proudly, I've been to this world before? Don't tell me what eternity is, I'll die in the most beautiful moment. This song was called Don't Cry, My Most Loved One, and the lyrics were very similar to Xiao Xiao's current situation. This was Xiao Xiao's favorite song, but she rarely sang it in front of people. Now, everyone in the room was her friends, and they all knew about her body's condition. This song was actually for them all. Do you remember when I said proudly, I've been to this world before? Don't tell me what maturity is, I'll die in the moment it starts. Everyone was affected by Xiao Xiao's emotions and started humming along. Xiao Xiao's face was full of smiles, but her tears couldn't help but flow down her cheeks. She knew that she was definitely going to die this time. Lin Yi kept telling her that he'd think of something, but it wasn't that easy to think of something. If there really was a way, her mother wouldn't have died. These days, Xiao Xiao didn't show it, but it was obvious that her body wasn't as good as before. Every night, she'd be woken up by a chill, but it was summer right now. Xiao Xiao knew that it was the cold energy in her body being released during her sleep, and so she knew that she didn't have much time left. It should be in the next few days. Today, Xiao Xiao was using this song as her last words to tell everyone she loved. The people in this room were all people she cared about, including Shirhan, who she'd just met. They'd only known each other for a short while, but it felt like they'd known each other for a long time. The Miss, Tang Yun, and Shu's eyes were all wet. Shirhan's eyes were red as well. If someone else were to sing this song, it wouldn't be a big deal, but Xiao Xiao was singing it, and everyone could understand the meaning behind it. Although Lin Yi did not cry, his heart was still very heavy. He wondered if there was any news from the old man. Who was that medical sage? Would he be able to find his medical notes? After the song, Xiao Xiao wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and smiled at everyone. What's wrong with you guys? Why does it seem so dull? Is it because I don't sing well? How many points can I get? Huh, you sang very well. Tang Yun forced a smile and said. Meng Yao and Yushu laughed and clapped as well, while Shirhan stood up. I was too engrossed in it, didn't I? I think it's even better than me. Huh, really? Looks like I can be a singer too. Xiao Xiao said happily. Su Shihan stayed there until late into the night. Only after Wang Jie called her did she reluctantly leave. The next concert would be held in the city tomorrow. It was time to prepare for the next concert. With the painkiller from Lin Yi, Shihan didn't have to worry about anything happening. Especially since the painkiller was in the form of medicine. Shihan could put it in a bottle and drink it when she had a headache, as if she was drinking water, and no one would notice. House Kong was in a mess. A piece of news hit them like a bolt from the blue, making Kong Guifeng and Xiaolong's eyes go wide as they stared at the storehouse full of Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine. Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine changed its packaging. The market had all changed to the new packaging with Shihan's picture, and the old version was almost extinct. But there were still mountains of it in House Kang's storehouse. That old bastard, why did he change the packaging for no reason? Isn't this a scam? Kong Guifeng didn't know what to do as he looked at the storehouse full of medicine. Xiaolong thought to himself. You're right, they're scamming your dad, scamming my grandpa. The most important thing right now is to sell the goods at a low price, even if it's 10 points lower than the market price. We can still sell it when the market is changing its packaging. If we wait any longer, it'll all be gone. Xiaolong sighed. That's the only way. Should we tell your grandpa about this? Kong Guifeng asked. Let's tell him, we can't hide it anyway. But this mistake has given Kong Mingming more credit. One wrong step, all the wrong steps. I made a mistake back then, and it caused such a huge loss. Xiaolong smiled bitterly. Dr. Kong was listening to a storyteller at home when he heard Kong Guifeng's report. He almost fainted from anger. What? They'd already lost 5 points to sell the goods, and now they had to lose 10 points. How much money would that be wasted? Plus, it wasn't just a problem of losing money. If they couldn't sell enough, they'd lose all the medicine they had. You two useless bastards. Dr. Kong was shaking with anger as he pointed at Kong Guifeng and Xiaolong. Look at what you've done. If you'd listened to Xiaoming earlier, you wouldn't have ended up like this. House Kong was ruined by you. That. Kong Guifeng wanted to say that although they came up with the idea, you were still the one who made the final decision. You agreed with our point of view too. If you'd agreed with Kong Mingming's point of view, this wouldn't have happened, right? But he couldn't say that out loud. If he did, it would make Dr. Kong even angrier. Kong Guifeng could only lower his head and endure the abuse from Dr. Kong. Go get Xiaoming, you bastards. Dr. Kong was a very vulgar person, cursing whenever he was angry. Fuck your grandma, you little bastards. Kong Guifeng and Kong Mingming were speechless. Kong Guifeng thought, fuck my grandma? Isn't that your mom? If we're little bastards, then aren't you an old bastard? Chapter 13-14. Unlucky Dr. Kong Xiaolong was a scheming man, and as much as he didn't want to admit defeat, he knew that he'd lose more points in a situation where he was at a disadvantage. After a few fruitless attempts at shirking responsibility, Xiaolong began to adjust his situation. Temporary tolerance was for the sake of becoming stronger and more powerful in the future. Kong Mingming called it a search for the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but he was actually going out to have fun and pick up girls. The recipe wasn't that easy to find, after all. He didn't have any leads on it yet, so he used this as an excuse to have some fun. When he got the call from Xiaolong saying that something big had happened at home, Kong Mingming didn't dare tarry and rushed back from the dinner table. He didn't get along with Xiaolong, but he still had to rush back to House Kong. Kong Mingming was a spoiled brat, but he wasn't an idiot. If House Kong were to be destroyed, how could he, Kong Mingming, live a good life? But when Kong Mingming got back to House Kong and found out what had happened, he let out a sigh of relief. He'd thought that it was something big, and that they'd lost some money, but it wasn't a devastating blow to House Kong. Plus, Kong Ming was secretly happy. This was all Xiaolong's doing, and now he disappointed his grandpa more and more. The future head of House Kong was going to be him, Kong Ming Ming. Kong Ming Ming could even imagine the amazing life he'd been living. After becoming the head of House Kong, he'd had women on his left and right, eating, drinking, and having fun. No one could control him, but he could control others. It was the life of an immortal. But on the surface, Kong Ming Ming still spoke with pain. This is a big deal. But what's done is done, and now's not the time to look into it. Uncle and brother didn't do it on purpose, and they didn't want this to happen. Fortunately, we only lost some money, and there were no other big problems. Otherwise, our Kong family would not be able to bear the torment. Although Kong Ming Ming said that he wouldn't pursue the matter, it was obvious that he was blaming Kong Guifeng and Kong Xiaolong for this. Zhao Ming, House Kong will accept the loss, but now that Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine is selling so well, it severely affected the sales of our Dr. Kang's golden creation. Those pharmacies that used to beg us to supply them all seem to have disappeared, and they don't even ask for our medicine anymore. Dr. Kong smiled bitterly. I'm afraid that the medical market will soon belong to Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. Fortunately, they still had the support of the military orders, but how long could they last? I'm afraid that Guan Shuemin will snatch this order away from us. If that happens, the Kong family will be facing a life and death crisis. Dr. Kang's words were serious, but if House Kong continued to develop like this, it might really become a reality. Xiaolong, Kong Ming, and Kong Guifeng all had worried expressions on their faces. As the saying goes, when the nest is overturned, no eggs remain intact. If House Kong were to collapse, they wouldn't be able to fight for the position of head of the house. So at this moment, the three of them let go of their competitive mentality and lowered their heads with a heavy heart. The reason I called you here is to discuss what our Kong family should do. How should we deal with it? House Kang's future isn't looking good. Dr. Kong sighed. What do you think we should do? Kong Guifeng and Xiaolong looked at each other. They didn't have any good ideas. House Kang's foundation was too weak. They only had the formula for golden creation, and they didn't have any other special effects medicine. If this product was replaced by someone else, then House Kong would have no more products to rely on. House Kang's medicine factory also produced common medicines for headaches and colds, but those were all common formulations. There were too many manufacturers, and it wasn't easy to do business. In the past, with Dr. Kang's golden creation's reputation, these medicines could be sold, but now that Dr. Kang's golden creation wasn't doing so well, the sales of these medicines were no different from those of a small medicine factory. They wouldn't starve to death, but it was impossible for House Kong to be as prosperous as it was now. They could only become a normal house, let alone become a noble house. Grandpa, I feel like this is still up to me. I feel that I have a great responsibility. If I can get the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, then everything will be solved. Kong Ming Ming said after some thought. In fact, he didn't know what else to say. That's right. Zhao Ming is right. How about it? Are you confident? Dr. Kong nodded in satisfaction. I've been drinking with friends these past few days, trying to get to know them better. This can't be rushed, we can only wait and see. After all, the formula is a secret, and it'll be hard to get it through normal means. Kong Ming Ming said. That's true. Keep it up. Dr. Kong said. From today onwards, you can use all the resources of House Kong, but you must give it your all to find the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. No problem, I understand. Kong Ming Ming nodded. Kong Ming Ming was overjoyed when he heard this decision. Did this mean that he was starting to exercise his authority as the young head of the house? He was about to become the young head of the house. Dr. Kang's words made Xiaolong's heart sink. Even though he'd been chosen as the heir by his grandfather, he hadn't given him this many resources, but now, Xiaolong was angry, but he couldn't refute it. His only hope now was that Kong Ming messed this up and couldn't get the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. But if he couldn't get the formula, then House Kong would be done for. With House Kang's current situation, if they didn't have a powerful formula, then House Kong would never be able to recover. And so Xiaolong was conflicted. On one hand, he hoped that Kong Ming would fail, but on the other hand, he didn't want him to fail. If Kong Ming failed, then what was the point of becoming the head of House Kong? It was just a small house, there was no sense of achievement at all. But if Kong Ming succeeded, then Kong Ming would be the head of House Kong. How could he let Kong Ming get the formula, but not become the head of House Kong? Xiaolong started thinking in his mind. He had to find a way that would satisfy both sides. Chapter 13-15. Kong Ming may be a spoiled brat, but he wasn't an idiot. Normal people wouldn't know such an important recipe. It was a business secret, even more serious than a top secret. If this recipe were to be leaked, it would shock all the noble houses. Although Kong Xiaoming agreed with full confidence, it was a bit difficult to actually execute the plan. He was very clear about his own capabilities. He used the old method of bribing Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company's vice president, Kong Xiaobo, to get the Golden Creation Medicines formula. But this method wouldn't work on Guan Shuimin. There was no way Guan Shuimin would give the recipe to him. Wouldn't he be an idiot then? So Kong Ming had to use other methods. But for someone like Shuimin, unless he was willing, there was no way he would just hand over the recipe. If he managed to get Guan Xian, he could order her to steal the recipe. Kong Ming was confident. From Kong Ming's point of view, women in love were blind and stupid. Wasn't Xiaofan the same? But Guan Xian was already engaged since she was young, and Kong Ming had no chance at all. Guan Xian was a girl who was already engaged. It was impossible for her to interact with other men before marriage. This made Kong Ming feel helpless. He couldn't get his hands on Guan Xian or Guan Shuimin. It was a little worrying. Kong Xiaoming was worried, but he didn't show it. He quietly left House Kong and went to find Xu Xiaozhang and Wang Shubin to discuss a solution. Xiaolong, on the other hand, watched Kong Ming's back as he left. He had to do something. Kong Ming had to succeed in finding the recipe, but how could he let him give up the position of head of the house after he succeeded? This was a difficult problem. Xiaolong fell into deep thought. After finding out the exact location of the arena, Ling Shan gathered a large number of police officers and surrounded the arena without anyone noticing. But, as secretive as Ling Shan's movements were, the underground arena's defenses were still very tight. Ever since Guden caused a scene in the arena, Jiang Wen was a little scared. If he let someone like that come a few more times, then there'd be no point in opening the arena anymore. They'd all be killed. And so, Jiang Wen had Scorpion's men pretend to be passers-by and set up traps at the main roads of the arena. Naturally, the traps would alert Scorpion the moment the police cars arrived. Young Master Wen, it's not good, there's a large number of police heading towards the underground arena. Scorpion was shocked when he heard the report from his underlings. What? The police are here? Jiang Wen was shocked. Seriously? How did the police find this place? I don't know, maybe someone leaked the information. Scorpion was troubled as well. He knew that this day would come, but wasn't it a little too fast? His mission was to be the scapegoat for Jiang Wen's crimes. He'd take responsibility for all the crimes that happened in the arena. As for his family, everything had already been arranged, so Scorpion was mentally prepared. It was just that he hadn't had enough yet. But now, even if he didn't want to, he had to stand out. He knew how cruel the fire wolves were. If he were to hand Jiang Wen over, then his family would be attacked severely by the fire wolves. So, he had to take on all the crimes himself. Of course, in the arena, only Scorpion, the professor, and the dead fighter Li knew Jiang Wen's identity. No one else had seen Jiang Wen before, and they didn't even know of his existence. Because of this, it was easy for Jiang Wen to get away with it. Scorpion, I'll leave the rest to you. I'll leave with the professor first. Jiang Wen sighed and decided to give up. He'd earned quite a bit of money from the underground arena recently, and it was enough. He had to let go when it was time. Don't worry, Master One, I know what to do. Scorpion gritted his teeth. Master One, you and the professor should escape. But at this time, Xiao Luozi's phone rang again. Xiao Luozi didn't dare to delay and quickly picked it up. But after listening to the caller's words, his face changed. What's wrong? Jiang Wen's face didn't look right. Master One, it's bad. The police have surrounded the arena. I'm afraid you and the professor won't be able to escape. Scorpion said. We can only activate the second plan. Okay, we need to hurry. Jiang Wen nodded and said decisively. While the police haven't barged in, we'll apply for a break in the middle of the fight and substitute the professor and me. Ling Shan arranged all the police forces and made sure that the people in the arena couldn't escape. She immediately ordered. Lu Wangli, bring a squad with me to arrest the suspect. Yes, Captain Song. Captain Song. Wangli immediately brought his men and followed behind Ling Shan. The door of the casino opened abruptly, and Ling Shan brought a group of police officers into the arena. Of course, what Ling Shan didn't know was that there were thugs patrolling the arena's entrance, but in order to not arouse Ling Shan's suspicions, Scorpion ordered the thugs to leave the place quietly. Otherwise, Ling Shan wouldn't have wasted the time to arrange the police force if she'd seen someone guarding the door. She'd have gone straight into the arena and grabbed the thugs at the door, giving Jiang Wen and the professor no time to set up their plans. Don't move, we're the police. Spectators, don't move. Stay in your seats, don't try to escape or resist. Ling Shan rushed in and used the megaphone to speak to the spectators. The spectators jumped when they saw the police rush into the arena. Some of them, naturally, wanted to run away, but after hearing Ling Shan's words and seeing the armed police behind her, they immediately gave up on the idea of running away. After all, they were just spectators, here to watch the fight and gamble. This arena had nothing to do with them, so the punishment wouldn't be too severe. They sat down obediently. Chapter 13-16. Officer Song, it's me. You're finally here. Help me out. I don't want to fight. They forced me to fight. The green-masked boxer suddenly shouted. He waved his hands and shouted for help in the ring. Help, Officer Song. This sudden turn of events startled Ling Shan. How did this boxer know her? After the green-masked boxer finished, the white-masked boxer opposite him started yelling as well. Ah! Is the police here? That was great. Help me too, I'm regretting it. I don't want to fight anymore, I don't want the money anymore, I want my life. You guys take care of the audience, and notify Team 2 to come in. Search for the organizer, I'll go take a look at these two boxers. Ling Shan felt that the green-masked boxer's voice was very familiar. Alright, Captain Song. Lu Wangli nodded. During the analysis of the case, everyone had come to the same conclusion. The underground arena used illegal methods such as seduction, kidnapping, and other methods to get people to fight, so the two boxers in the ring should be victims as well. They weren't dangerous, and Lu Wangli wasn't worried about Ling Shan getting into trouble alone. Plus, Ling Shan was a golden class late phase peak, there was nothing to be afraid of. Ling Shan walked up and looked at the two boxers in the ring. May I ask who you are? Why are you fighting here? Officer Song, it's me. The green-masked boxer pulled off his mask, revealing his face. It was Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen's face was on the verge of tears. I'm Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen? Why are you here? Why did you come here? Ling Shan, naturally, was familiar with Jiang Wen. He was one of the victims of the kidney trafficking company, but why was he here? How could he be so miserable? I went to the hospital to get my kidneys checked, and someone told me that he knew a folk doctor who could cure my kidneys and restore my manhood, so I came. Jiang Wen said with a pained face. Only when I got here did I realize that I'd been tricked. They gave me a stimulant shot and told me to fight on the stage, telling me that if I didn't want to die, I'd be beaten to death. Fuck, I was scared to death. Ling Shan looked at Jiang Wen sympathetic. Why was this guy so unlucky? How could he be arrested for looking at a kidney? Ling Shan's face darkened when he said things like weak kidneys and masculinity. Okay, it's fine now. Come with me to the police station to make a statement. Ling Shan, on the other hand, didn't doubt Jiang Wen's words. After all, Jiang Wen was a fighter, and he stood in the ring. From what she knew, a young master like Jiang Wen wouldn't fight in the ring no matter how much money was offered. It was a joke with his life. Me, officer, I was tricked here. A blonde told me that he'd give me 200,000 if I did some bodybuilding, but I didn't expect it to be a fighter. I'm not fighting anymore, I'll lose my life if I keep fighting. The person speaking was the white-masked man, who was actually the professor. He and Jiang Wen went on the stage to replace the two fighters, and since the police had rushed into the arena, the audience didn't realize that the fighters had been replaced. Of course, they weren't paying attention to it. They couldn't even protect themselves, so how could they have the time to study the people on the stage? Plus, the people on the stage were all wearing masks, and they were so far away. No one could tell if the fighters had been replaced or not. Jiang Wen and the professor made use of this to put on a good show of escaping on the stage like a cicada slipping out of its shell. Okay, you'll come with me to the police station to make a statement. Ling Shan nodded. Jiang Wen and the professor sighed in relief after hearing Ling Shan's words, but it wasn't Ling Shan's fault. In the entire arena, other than the dead fighter Li, only Scorpion knew about Jiang Wen and the professor's identities. Scorpion, however, wouldn't tell anyone about it. At this moment, Scorpion was brought out without any resistance. His face was very calm, as this moment would come sooner or later. The underground arena was completely destroyed in one night. In the interrogation room, little Scorpion didn't resist at all. He confessed all the crimes he committed. As for the whereabouts of the underground arena's funds, little Scorpion revealed an international gang. This gang was the Fire Wolf Gang's enemy, so little Scorpion didn't mind using this opportunity to create some trouble for them. Of course, the Fire Wolves had already taken care of the details, and they couldn't find any problems with the bank accounts. For a large criminal organization like the Fire Wolf Gang, it was easy to create this kind of fake evidence. It was not difficult at all. So, even if Ling Shan and the others did a thorough investigation, they wouldn't be able to link it to Jiang Wen, the professor, or even the Fire Wolves. The destruction of the underground boxing arena had no effect on most people. Only those who had gambled in the underground boxing arena had received varying degrees of punishment. Life went on, but Xiao Xiao was getting lazier and lazier. She couldn't seem to wake up, and she didn't want to go to school either. She stayed at home and didn't want to go out. She turned on the heater in her bedroom, covered in a thick blanket, and sneezed non-stop. Lin Yi, the Miss, Shu, and Tang Yun were all worried, but there was nothing they could do. The cold energy in Xiao Xiao's body was getting stronger and stronger, invading her entire body. That was why she felt so cold on a hot day like this. Knowing that she didn't have much time left, Lin Yi, the Miss, Shu, and Tang Yun all stopped going to school. They stayed in the villa to spend the last years of her life with Xiao Xiao. They'd finished their high school courses a long time ago, and it was revision time now. With the Miss, Shu, and Tang Yun's self-learning abilities, it wouldn't be a problem even if they didn't go to school. The three of them had their own specialties, and they could complement each other. Xiao Xiao, what are you doing? Tang Yun looked curiously at Xiao Xiao fiddling with the yarn. I want to knit a sweater for Shield Bro, Xiao Xiao said. I want to leave something for him as a souvenir, but I don't think I can last that long. I'll die before I finish, so I think I should knit a scarf. But I'm afraid I won't be able to finish it. Chapter 13-17. It's fine, I'll do it myself. Xiao Xiao shook her head, rejecting Yushu for the first time. This was her gift to Lin Yi, and she didn't want anyone else's help. Ah! How stingy! Yushu wasn't too happy about the rejection. BSP, Shu, stop messing around. Xiao Xiao's right, let her do it herself. Only the things she weaves with her own hands have meaning. If you want to, you can weave one yourself. Meng Yao said. Oh. Yushu nodded and didn't say anything else. Lin Yi sat on the side, feeling down. This was the first time Lin Yi felt so helpless. Before, no matter what happened, Lin Yi would always think of a way to solve it, but now, he couldn't think of anything. Just when Lin Yi was at his wit's end, old Lin's call finally came. Old man, you finally called. Lin Yi was excited. Lin Yi's only hope was on old Lin, that ancient medicine saint you mentioned last time. Is there any news? I did, but it's bad news. Old man Lin sighed and said, don't be too sad when I say it. I found it, but why is it still bad news? Could it be that the fire spirit's fruit doesn't exist? Lin Yi paused and asked worriedly. Whether it exists or not, I can't say for sure, but I've never seen it before. Old Lin said, this ancient medicine saint is called Zhang Liju. I've confirmed that it's him, but his medical notes weren't passed down to the world. It said that he brought it to his grave, so this trail ends here. What? Zhang Liju? Lin Yi heard the words and gasped, you're saying that his medical notes might be in his grave? Yes, why are you so excited? Old Lin didn't understand. Of course I'm excited. Lin Yi laughed heartily. He wasn't unfamiliar with the name Zhang Liju, he'd heard it more than once from Wuxia and Lingshan. The tomb Lingshan was going to, wasn't it the holy Dr. Zhang's tomb? According to old Lin's deduction, Zhang Liju's medical notes hadn't been passed down to the world, which meant that it was most likely in his grave. In ancient times, people had the mindset that the teacher would starve to death if the student was taught. Even the kindest person would have this sort of concern, and so a lot of knowledge and culture was lost. So, if this Zhang Liju had the medical notes, then it was possible that it was in his tomb. You know this Zhang Liju too? Old Lin could sense something from Lin Yi's craziness. Yes, and not only that, I also know where his tomb is. Lin Yi didn't expect that things would suddenly take a turn for the better. It was a complete coincidence that he had lent a helping hand, but it had led to this opportunity. Oh. Are you for real? Old Lin was in disbelief. Of course, it's actually a bit of a coincidence, it's like this. Lin Yi told old Lin about how he saved Wuxia. I didn't think that you would have this kind of opportunity. Perhaps, the heavens don't want Xiao Xiao to have such a tragic life. Old Lin sighed, but, you need to be prepared. Let's not talk about whether or not there's medical notes in Zhang Liju's grave. Even if the medical notes really exist, you might not be able to find something as legendary as the fire spirit's fruit. Oh. What do you mean? Lin Yi frowned. Old Lin's words were like a bucket of cold water splashing down on him. Lin Yi calmed down instantly, and he wasn't as excited as before. Yeah, it was hard to say if the medical notes existed or not. What was there to be happy about? First of all, it's hard to say if the notes would mention where the fire spirit's fruit grows. Old Lin explained. Secondly, even if it did, how many years has it been since Zhang Liju died? Whether or not the fire spirit's fruit exists is another matter altogether. It's better than nothing. As long as there's hope, I'll work hard. No matter what, I'll try. Lin Yi said firmly. Too much hope comes with too much disappointment. You need to have a normal heart. Old Lin said, You're slowly losing your normal heart, haven't you noticed? You're changing completely. You're becoming more sentimental. Is that so? Lin Yi paused. Perhaps, but this is good too. I'm not saying it's not good, I'm just worried that you won't be able to get over it. Old Lin said, I'm relying on you for my retirement. Don't die from depression, you'll die before me. Don't worry, I'll let you die first. Lin Yi smiled. Zhang Liju went through a lot of trouble looking for this fruit back then, but according to the records, he had a natural sense of smell that allowed him to find a high-level herb in the vast wasteland. Old Lin said, Of course, I don't really believe it, maybe he had something to rely on. That's right, Lin Yi nodded, of course, I don't really believe it, maybe he had something to rely on. You're saying that he has a magical item that can find herbs. Like my jade pendant? Lin Yi reacted quickly. He understood what Old Lin meant right away. Perhaps, so you really need to go to Zhang Liju's grave and pay attention. Old Lin said. I understand. Lin Yi nodded. If not for anything else, he had to pay attention to this magical item in order to find the fire spirit's fruit for Xiao Xiao. After ending the call with Old Lin, Lin Yi took a deep breath and called Ling Shan. Lin Yi? Ling Shan was a bit surprised. Lin Yi usually wouldn't call her on his own. You're looking for me? Yeah, when are you planning on going? Lin Yi asked. Grave robbing? Ling Shan paused. You mean, catching the grave robbers? Yes. Lin Yi nodded. This month, Ling Shan said. I've already disguised myself as a member of the couple, and I've been in contact with the other grave robbers. I'll go too. Lin Yi said, I agree to your suggestion. Really? That's great. Ling Shan was overjoyed. If Lin Yi joined, then their chances would be even higher. She was already a golden class late phase peak, but the other grave robbers were full of hidden dragons as well. She wouldn't be able to handle them if they had masters. Chapter 13-18. Sure, but I can't give you the original. Ling Shan had her principles. Ling Shan had her own principles. She might have a good relationship with Lin Yi, but she couldn't change her principles. I don't need the original. Lin Yi just wanted to look at his medical notebooks. Original or not wasn't of any use to him. After confirming this, Lin Yi didn't tell Xiao Xiao and the others. After all, there was no progress yet. Just like Old Lin said, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. It was better to wait until there was a result. What Lin Yi was afraid of the most was that even if the fire spirit's fruit was recorded in the medical notes, it wouldn't be easy to find. And so, these days, Lin Yi started studying the map Wuxia gave him. This grave-robbing mission was very important to Lin Yi, and he couldn't afford to be careless. He had to succeed. 3 days later, Lin Yi was studying the map in his room when a scream came from outside. The door was pushed open, and Yushu rushed in. Shield bro, quick. Xiao Xiao fainted again, go save her. Oh. Lin Yi was shocked. He quickly put down the map and ran upstairs with Yushu. Why did Xiao Xiao faint? I don't know. She said she was cold and wanted to take a hot shower. We didn't think much of it, but it's been an hour since Xiao Xiao went into the bathroom. We got worried and went to check, only to find her unconscious in the bathtub. Yushu said with a sigh. Lin Yi nodded. He had foreseen this situation a long time ago. Xiao Xiao's illness would act up in the next few days. Even if it didn't act up today, it would happen tomorrow or the day after. But his heart was still heavy at the moment. Right, Xiao Xiao isn't wearing any clothes. Shield bro, you can do something to her. Yushu said suddenly. Ha! Lin Yi smiled bitterly and didn't say anything. Shu looked like an idiot, but Lin Yi knew that she was joking after seeing his heavy expression. Lin Yi walked into the bathroom quickly and saw Xiao Xiao in the bathtub. Tang Yun and Meng Yao were worried as well, but they couldn't do anything. They didn't dare move Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi didn't say much and carried Xiao Xiao into the bedroom, putting her on the bed. He then bit his wrist and let the blood flow onto Xiao Xiao's body. You need to be prepared. This situation isn't looking good. Jiao Yazi's voice sounded in Lin Yi's ear. Oh. Jiao Lao, what's going on? Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat when he heard Jiao Yazi's voice. This situation is more serious than I thought. The cold energy has entered every corner of her body, and it's too strong. I can feel it, Jiao Yazi said. Lin Yi's heart sank. Then this time, give it a try, but don't force it. Don't die from blood loss before you can save her. Jiao Yazi sighed. Lin Yi nodded and let his blood flow onto Xiao Xiao's body. Time passed, but Xiao Xiao didn't look any better today. On the other hand, Lin Yi's face was getting paler and paler. There was a limit to the amount of blood in a human body. If a normal person lost more than 15% of their blood, they'd go into shock, and 30% would be life-threatening. But Lin Yi's body was stronger than a normal person's, and he was losing more than 50% of his body's blood. A normal person would have died a long time ago. You can't do this anymore. If you keep bleeding, you'll be in trouble. Even if the art of dragon mastery can heal you, it'll still be dangerous. You're losing too much blood, and I'm afraid you'll just die. Jiao Yazi warned. Lin Yi shook his head. He didn't stop. Xiao Xiao wasn't getting any better, so he couldn't stop. This was his last chance. If Lin Yi gave up, that meant that Xiao Xiao would never wake up again, and so, Lin Yi channeled the art of dragon mastery, using it to quickly replenish his energy, allowing his body to continue producing blood, but the time needed to produce blood wasn't enough to keep up with the rapid blood loss. Even with the replenishment of energy, it didn't help. Even someone as strong as Lin Yi was starting to feel dizzy. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Lin Yi reminded himself that he had to hold on until the end. This was his last hope. If Xiao Xiao didn't wake up, then even if he found Zhang Liju's medical notes and the fire spirit's fruit, what use would it be? He couldn't give up, he couldn't. Tang Yun, Meng Yao, and Yushu watched as Lin Yi's face grew paler and paler. They were worried for him, but they couldn't say anything to disturb him. They could only pray for Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao. Do you still want to continue? Have you ever thought that you might die? Jiao Yazi was panicking. Lin Yi was basically committing suicide. Jiao Lao, don't try to talk me out of it. I know what I'm doing. Even if it's dangerous, I have to keep doing it, I have no other choice. Lin Yi said to Jiao Yazi in his mind, Jiao Lao, there's no way out for me. If I give up, then it'll be useless even if I get the fruit. Man. Jiao Yazi sighed and shut his mouth, not saying anything else. Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao's face getting blurry, and he couldn't hold on much longer. Was this all fate? He'd worked so hard for so long, fought for so long, and still couldn't escape this day. Lin Yi felt himself getting weaker and weaker, as if he was hallucinating. He thought he saw Xiao Xiao smile again, and heard her sad voice, remember when I said proudly, I've been to this world before, don't tell me what eternity is, I'll be destroyed in the brightest moment, the next moment, Lin Yi didn't know what was going on anymore. He fainted on the ground. Even a practitioner couldn't handle this much blood loss, and Lin Yi was forced into the jade space. Chapter 13-19. Why aren't you using this time to recover your stamina? What are you doing sitting there like an idiot? Jiao Yazi scolded Lin Yi angrily. Lin Yi froze. Jiao Yazi's words woke him up from his sadness. Yes, there was hope as long as he was alive. He didn't know if Xiao Xiao was dead or alive, but that didn't mean there was no hope. After his body recovered, he could think of a way to save Xiao Xiao. As long as Xiao Xiao wasn't dead by the time he woke up, then there was still a chance. With that thought, Lin Yi said to Jiao Yazi seriously, "Jiao Lao, thank you. That sentence of yours was like a wake-up call, calming me down. Don't worry, I'll try my best to recover." "Okay, as long as you can think it through," Jiao Yazi nodded. Lin Yi closed his eyes and sat cross-legged, channeling the art of dragon taking, making his body absorb the energy quickly. Time passed quickly as he cultivated, and Lin Yi, who was forced into the jade space, was in a state of unconsciousness. He couldn't sense what was going on outside, and had to wait until his body recovered to a certain extent before he could re-establish contact with the outside world. Feng Tianlong rushed to the villa after receiving Tang Yun's call. Although they were father and daughter, it wasn't good for Xiao Xiao to be naked. After all, Xiao Xiao was a grown-up now. Therefore, Tang Yun stopped Feng Tianlong at the door of the bedroom. "Uncle Feng, please wait a moment. Yao Yao and Shu are helping Xiao Xiao get dressed. She went to take a shower and fainted in the bathroom." Okay. How is Xiao Xiao? This time. Can she be saved?" Feng Tianlong rushed over as soon as he received the call, but Tang Yun didn't explain clearly on the phone, so he asked anxiously as soon as he entered the room. "This time." Tang Yun's expression darkened. To be honest, Tang Yun didn't like Xiao Xiao at first, and she agreed to Feng Tianlong's request because she had no other choice. But now, Tang Yun truly liked Xiao Xiao. She was worried for her, and didn't want her to leave. Tang Yun didn't finish her sentence, but Feng Tianlong understood what she meant. He nodded silently and walked into the bedroom with her. Xiao Xiao was already dressed by Meng Yao and Yushu, and when Tianlong walked in, he saw Lin Yi lying beside Xiao Xiao. He couldn't help but gasp, he. At first, Tianlong thought that Lin Yi was treating Xiao Xiao, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to be lying beside Xiao Xiao. He didn't know if he was asleep, or Lin Yi lost too much blood to save Xiao Xiao, and fainted. Tang Yun sighed. She was worried, but she knew that Lin Yi had strong recovery abilities. She didn't need to worry too much. Then Xiao Xiao. Feng Tianlong's face was very ugly. Lin Yi had lost too much blood, and Xiao Xiao wasn't awake yet. It was obvious what this meant. "I don't know yet. She's not awake yet, but although her heartbeat and breathing are weak, but..." Tang Yun wanted to say that she wasn't dead, but that didn't sound good, so she didn't say it. She believed that Feng Tianlong would understand. Sigh. Feng Tianlong looked at his daughter on the bed, frowning. Was this day really coming? As expected, they couldn't escape from this curse. Xiao Xiao couldn't hold on, and followed in the footsteps of his wife. Looking at the pale-faced Lin Yi, Feng Tianlong was filled with guilt. He felt that he had wronged him. If it weren't for his request, Lin Yi wouldn't have anything to do with Xiao Xiao, and wouldn't have gotten involved in this. But now, Lin Yi was treating Xiao Xiao as his own responsibility, sparing no effort. Lin Yi not only saved her twice from bad guys, but also pulled her back from the gates of hell. This kind of friendship was hard to come by. Not to mention a fake couple, even a real couple would not be able to do this. Husband and wife were birds in the same forest, but when faced with a disaster, they would fly away separately. This wasn't just a saying, there were too many examples. But Lin Yi was willing to sacrifice his own body for Xiao Xiao. Feng Tianlong didn't know how to repay him. "Uncle Feng, what are you doing?" Tang Yun quickly stood up and stopped Feng Tianlong. "Yeah, Uncle Feng, we're good friends with Xiao Xiao, good sisters." "This is nothing." Meng Yao added, "Ever since Xiao Xiao came to the villa, she's brought a lot of joy to everyone." Yeah, we've formed a troublemaking duo, ready to sweep the universe." Yushu said as well. "Alright, then I won't be unreasonable. If you're tired, go to sleep first. I'll wait here for Xiao Xiao and Yi to wake up." Feng Tianlong looked at the time, "It's already 3 in the morning, I don't want to disturb your rest." "It's fine, we're worried about Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao." Tang Yun shook her head. The two people she cared about the most were still unconscious, how could she be in the mood to sleep? Meng Yao and Yushu didn't say anything, but it was obvious that they thought the same. Seeing that his daughter had so many good friends, Feng Tianlong was touched again. Lin Yi quickly absorbed the energy in the jade space. In order to wake up sooner, Lin Yi compressed all the energy around him and absorbed it into his body. This way, he could absorb more pure qi in the same amount of time. But when the pure qi was released in his body, it gave Lin Yi immense pain. It was like small energy bombs exploding in his body. Although it was his own energy, it was still very uncomfortable for Lin Yi. But Lin Yi didn't care about that anymore. His only thought was to recover quickly and use his blood to heal Xiao Xiao. Seeing Lin Yi's crazy actions, Jiao Yazi didn't stop him. If Lin Yi wanted to suffer, then so be it. As long as it wasn't too dangerous, Jiao Yazi didn't want to interfere. Lin Yi even dared to use energy compression when leveling up, let alone now. Chapter 1320. Lin Yi saw Tianlong and the unconscious Xiao Xiao beside him. "Jiao Lao, is there still hope?" Lin Yi's body had recovered a lot, and he looked a lot better than before. "It's hard to say. The severity of the situation has exceeded my expectations. The frost has basically invaded her meridians, and from a normal perspective, there's nothing we can do. Even if you manage to wake her up, it'll only be a day or two." Jiao Yazi said, "Can you find the fruit in a day or two?" "I don't think it's possible." Lin Yi took a deep breath, "A day or two. Even if it's just a day or two, I have to try. I can't just watch her die. Do what you want, you won't give up until you see the end of the road. Xiao Xiao has already developed a resistance to your blood, which means that the Yin frost in her body has reached a certain level, and your blood can't suppress it anymore." Jiao Yazi said. "I know, no need to say more. Even a day or two is good enough." Lin Yi said, "It's Xiao Xiao's birthday soon, and I don't want her to have any regrets. I haven't celebrated her birthday with her yet." Feeling that his body was almost healed, Lin Yi quickly left the jade space and came back to reality. Lin Yi had been using his senses to check on Xiao Xiao's condition, and it was good that there was still life, so Lin Yi could rest easy and recover. After waking up, Lin Yi didn't bother talking to Tianlong, he bit his wrist and let the blood flow onto Xiao Xiao's body. Tianlong was relieved to see Lin Yi wake up, but at the same time, he felt lucky. Xiao Xiao was in trouble, and if something happened to Lin Yi, how could he live with his conscience? Especially when Lin Yi was Lin Dongfang's disciple. If something happened to him, how would he answer to him? But the first thing Lin Yi did when he woke up was bite his wrist and continue healing Xiao Xiao. This made Tianlong's heart ache. He didn't know what to say. Lin Yi really cared about Xiao Xiao. "Lil Yi, don't force yourself. Life and death are decreed by fate. You've already tried your best. Xiao Xiao is already like this, you can't harm your own body like this. Tianlong knew how important blood was to the human body. Although Lin Yi was a practitioner, he was also a practitioner. She'd lost too much blood to the point of fainting, and it was already a miracle that she could wake up without blood transfusion. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was giving her blood after waking up. Wasn't he looking to die? Don't worry. Lin Yi said faintly, I've almost recovered. I have to try everything. If I don't try, I won't be satisfied. Tang Yun, Meng Yao, and Yushu all fell silent after hearing Lin Yi's words. They all knew Lin Yi's personality. He would do what he said. Lin Yi's heart was conflicted. He wouldn't give up. Xiao Xiao's face was still pale and motionless, but Lin Yi still insisted on pouring his blood on Xiao Xiao's body. Time passed, and Lin Yi's face turned even paler and scarier, but Lin Yi didn't give up. The atmosphere in the room was very tense. No one spoke. Everyone was silent, and their eyes were on Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao. Finally, Xiao Xiao's eyelashes moved. She moved, she really moved. Yushu cried out. Ha! A happy smile appeared on Lin Yi's face. It seemed that Xiao Xiao had come back from the gates of hell. Tianlong's face was filled with joy and surprise as well. He didn't think that Lin Yi would be able to save Xiao Xiao this time. Xiao Xiao, are you awake? Tianlong ran over, a little excited. Ugh. Xiao Xiao opened her eyes in a daze and looked at the people in the room, surprised. I'm awake. I'm still alive. Yeah, you're still alive. Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi honey, you saved me again. Xiao Xiao looked at the pale face of Lin Yi, his wrist still bleeding. She felt a little bad. Yeah, Shield Bro lost a lot of blood to save you and fainted. Yushu nodded, but he kept saving you after he woke up. Shoo. Meng Yao stopped her from saying any more. Xiao Xiao would feel even worse if she said all this, wouldn't she? As expected, a sad expression appeared on Xiao Xiao's face. Lin Yi honey, I'm really sorry. I'm not worth it. Even if I were alive, I wouldn't be able to last more than a few days. I can feel that the cold energy is still stirring, it's just being suppressed for now. I know, it's your birthday the day after tomorrow. After this day, you'll break the curse of dying before you're 20. Maybe things will turn around. Lin Yi said. Ah. Really? It's my birthday the day after tomorrow. Xiao Xiao didn't even remember her birthday. Tianlong had been busy with work, and she didn't have any close friends, so she didn't remember her birthday. She didn't think that he would remember her birthday at all. I saw it on your ID. Lin Yi smiled. All right, don't say such depressing things. Everything's fine now. Okay. Xiao Xiao nodded after some hesitation. Yes, no matter what, she was alive again. Who cared how long she had left? She couldn't let Lin Yi down, could she? The sky was starting to lighten, and the three girls hadn't slept the entire night. Xiao Xiao had just woken up, but she was very tired as well. After talking for a while, she started yawning. Lin Yi didn't know what to say, but he didn't know what to say. Rest early, everyone. I'm going back to my room to rest as well. Lin Yi said. I'm going back too. Xiao Xiao, listen to Lin Yi here. Tianlong had work to do, too. The Red Conch incident wasn't solved yet. Who knew what they were planning next? Luckily, Xiao Xiao was in the villa now, so they didn't have to worry about the Red Conches attacking. After leaving the room, the smile on Lin Yi's face disappeared, replaced with a worried look. Tianlong, who followed him out, saw the change in Lin Yi's expression, but he wasn't too surprised. How long can Xiao Xiao last this time? Chapter 13:21. What? You're saying that you found a way to save Xiao Xiao? Tianlong froze and stared at Lin Yi with his eyes wide open. His breathing quickened as he asked, Little Yi, tell me, have you found a way to save Xiao Xiao? Uncle Feng, don't move yet. Let's go downstairs and talk in my room. Lin Yi was afraid that Tianlong's voice would disturb Meng Yao and the others in the room, so he made a gesture. Okay. Tianlong's body was shaking as he followed Lin Yi downstairs to Lin Yi's room. He couldn't wait as he entered. Lin Yi, tell me, do you have a way? Uncle Feng, I do, but I don't know if I can find the herb. If I can, then it's not a problem. Lin Yi said, but there's a problem, and that's time. There's not enough time. Even if I try my best, it'll take a month or longer. Xiao Xiao won't last that long. Herb? There's news on the fire spirit's fruit? Tianlong asked, surprised. Yes, I found an ancient medicine saint in a medical book. He once treated a very important patient with the fire spirit's fruit, and this herb can neutralize the coldness in the human body. It's what Xiao Xiao needs. Lin Yi said, and the place where this medicine saint found the fruit might be recorded in his medical notes, and the notes might be in his tomb. Oh. You're saying you found the tomb of this medicine saint? Tianlong said, surprised. I found it, and I'm preparing to go. Lin Yi nodded and told Tianlong about Lingshan's plan. Lingshan invited me to the tomb, and as a reward, she'll let me copy all the medical books in there. That's not a problem. Even if she doesn't copy it for you, I have a way to show it to you. Feng Tianlong wasn't worried about this. With his special department, it was easy for him to look up these things. Does that mean there's hope for Xiao Xiao's illness? That should have been the case, but time waits for no man. Lin Yi smiled bitterly inside. It's too late to know this news. If it were earlier, it wouldn't be like this. That's not a problem. I can still help Xiao Xiao maintain her last bit of vitality. Feng Tianlong said, you might not know this, but when Susu passed away, I made an ice coffin for her and sealed her in it. It can maintain her body's functions. What? You actually thought of this method? Lin Yi was slightly taken aback, then nodded. Absolute zero. Although the department I'm in is a little special, it's still not up to that standard. But even if it doesn't reach that temperature, it won't be a problem to seal Xiao Xiao for decades. Feng Tianlong said, I didn't think of this method. It was Lin Dongfang, your master. He mentioned an interesting story, saying that someone was frozen in a glacier, and when the glacier melted, the person woke up. That's why I thought of this method. Of course, although this method can ensure that Xiao Xiao's body doesn't deteriorate, there's still a risk. Let's not talk about whether that joke was real or not. Even if it was real, there's a lot of coincidence involved, so if she freezes to death and can't recover, that's fine. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had a happy smile on his face. As long as Xiao Xiao's body didn't change, Lin Yi had his omnipotent energy, and he should be able to revive her. Everything was ready, and all that was left was the fire spirit's fruit. Seeing the smile on Lin Yi's face, Feng Tianlong didn't say much. Lin Yi must have a plan. Alright, I'll get someone to prepare and make another ice coffin. Feng Tianlong didn't dare delay and immediately prepared to make the arrangements. When you froze Auntie Susu back then, did you think that she could be healed in the future? Lin Yi asked. Yes, Miracle Dr. Lin Dongfang said that if a Sky Class were to help, Susu could be saved, but... Sky Class. Feng Tianlong smiled bitterly, I've already begged, but no Sky Class would risk losing a level to save a normal person. You've seen a Sky Class before? Lin Yi looked at Feng Tianlong, shocked. He didn't think that he'd come into contact with a Sky Class. It's fine, I'm just a normal person now, let's not talk about that. Feng Tianlong evidently didn't want to talk about the past. He shook his head and didn't say anything else. Lin Yi saw Feng Tianlong's face and knew that he didn't want to talk about it anymore, so he didn't force him. If that's the case, then I'm relieved. If it's possible, I'll find 2 fire spirits fruits and give one to Auntie Susu, but if there's only one, please forgive me Uncle Feng, I can only give it to Xiao Xiao. If the fire spirits fruit is split, no one can guarantee that it won't have any effect. You love your wife, but I also want my wife to live. I know, I understand. Feng Tianlong couldn't help but laugh after hearing Lin Yi's words, she's still my daughter. I believe that if I really gave the one and only fire spirit's fruit to Susu, even if she came back to life and knew that I didn't save Xiao Xiao, she would still kill me. Lin Yi nodded. Feng Tianlong was right, which parent didn't want their child to be safe and happy? Even if they died, it didn't matter. He believed that if Xiao Susu woke up, she would have the same thought. Lin Yi believed that if he and Xiao Xiao had a child and Lin Yi found a fire spirit's fruit, Xiao Xiao would definitely give it to the child and not herself. After sending Feng Tianlong away, Lin Yi's mood brightened up. The dark clouds were swept away. As long as he solved the problem of time, everything else wasn't a problem. The fire spirit's fruit, Lin Yi believed that if he worked hard, he would definitely be able to find it. Even if he couldn't find it, he could wait until he leveled up to Sky class to cure Xiao Xiao's illness. Drop levels? Lin Yi wasn't afraid. Did he drop too little? Because Xiao Xiao always dropped to 0, so this was the result no matter what, right? Negative levels. Chapter 1322. Jiang Wen and the professor got out of the police station without much hassle. They were victims, after all, and Ling Shan only investigated how they got caught and tricked before letting them go. The problem now was that Scorpion had confessed, but they couldn't get the money back. This made Ling Shan a little depressed. According to Scorpion, he was from the international criminal organization Red Conches. His purpose here was to get money for Red Conches, and the other was to work as an information center. Red Conch had been stirring up a storm in Songshan recently, so Ling Shan didn't doubt Scorpion's words. Red Conch couldn't even catch the people from the occult investigation department, let alone Ling Shan. This wasn't something she cared about, and so the underground arena case had to end here. After this case was over, Ling Shan would have to focus on the grave robbing case. This was a battle of wits and courage against criminals, and Ling Shan had to give it her all. After the underground arena case was over, Xia Yufeng continued to visit her every day. Ling Shan was annoyed, but there was nothing she could do about it. Sometimes, she really wanted Lin Yi to break his legs so he wouldn't bother her anymore. Ling Shan, you're finally done with the case, right? I saw the papers, it was a complete victory. Congratulations, you've done a meritorious deed again. Yufeng had been paying attention to Ling Shan. She said that she was busy with the case, and Yufeng knew that it was an excuse, but she really was busy. After the case was over, Yufeng planned to ask her out for a meal again. He'd like to see if she had any reason to reject him this time. That's because of everyone's hard work. Ling Shan said faintly, do you have something to say? I've booked a table at Starlight Hotel tonight, I'm planning to hold a celebratory feast for you. How about it? Are you free tonight? Yufeng smiled. Sorry, not tonight, there's another case. Ling Shan waved the file in her hand, I have to work overtime tonight, maybe next time. Yufeng was very troubled, and his face didn't look too good after hearing Ling Shan's words. But Ling Shan's reason was reasonable, and he couldn't say anything about it. He gritted his teeth, alright, I'll be going then. Ling Shan frowned as she watched Yufeng leave. This guy had been chasing after her for a long time, and he'd always been a problem. She could brush him off now, but what would happen in the long run? There would come a day when Xia Yufeng would get impatient, and when would he get impatient? What would happen? At that time, House Song and House Yu might just fall out. What would happen to House Song's future then? Ling Shan wasn't in a good mood at the thought. If it weren't for this marriage, with Ling Shan's current potential, it would have been normal for her to have a seat in the noble house meeting, and so Ling Shan was very happy. But now, with the marriage with House Yu, things were different. On the surface, it looked like House Yu's support would make House Song stronger, but the problem was that Ling Shan didn't like Yu Feng. If she didn't have anyone she liked, then it'd be fine. For the sake of House Song, Ling Shan wouldn't mind. But now that she had someone she liked, with her personality, she'd rather die than be with Yu Feng. But this meant that there would be conflict. It was easy to get engaged, but hard to break off. This wasn't just about Yu Feng lusting after her, it was about the face of the house. Of course, if House Yu broke off the engagement first, then House Song would have no choice but to accept it. After all, House Yu was strong, and in the noble house rankings, whoever was stronger had the right. The situation was reversed, and House Song was the weaker. If they broke off the engagement, House Yu might get angry and do something outrageous. There was a knock on the door, and Ling Shan sighed. "Come in." It was Yu Tian. He was invited by Ling Shan to discuss the grave robbing. "Ling Shan, what's wrong? Why do you look so sad?" Yu Tian might have given up on pursuing Ling Shan, but he still cared about her. Her every movement and smile were all under Yu Tian's observation. Naturally, he had to ask when he saw the worried look on Ling Shan's face. "Yu Tian bro, you're here." Ling Shan forced a smile. "Isn't it House Yu's Yu Feng? He came again just now and said that he had booked a table at the Starlight Hotel. He wants me to go tonight and have a celebratory feast for me. He's here again." Yu Tian frowned. "Can't he tell that you don't like him?" "He can tell, but so what?" Ling Shan shook her head. "Didn't you see that too? You still don't give up." I'm different, at least I'm not as persistent as him." Yu Tian felt a little awkward, but he seems to be a little too persistent. "Who knows? I don't know how to reject him either." Ling Shan said, "The noble house meeting is coming up, and I don't want House Song and House Yu to turn against each other. It doesn't benefit House Song at all. But how about this, I talk to Yu Feng. We're both men, it's easier to talk. If we ask him to give up and back off, it won't affect House Song and House Yu." Yu Tian sighed. "Let Yu Feng cancel the engagement, that way, we can save our face." Yu Tian sighed. "It's no use, Yu Feng's different from you, he's someone who won't give up until he gets what he wants. I see the possessiveness in his eyes, he won't give up that easily." Ling Shan smiled bitterly. "He's an unreasonable person. No matter what, we still have to try." Yu Tian had a rough idea of Yu Feng's personality from what Ling Shan told him, domineering and unreasonable, but seeing how troubled Ling Shan was, he wanted to share some of her burden. "It's fine, I don't want to drag you and House Chen into this." Ling Shan said with a wave of her hand, "Your House Chen can't even save yourself, it'll be good enough if you can stay in the noble house meeting. Maybe I should talk to Lin Yi about it. Maybe he can do something." Yu Tian asked after some thought. "We'll talk about it later, Lin Yi seems pretty busy these days." Ling Shan said, "Let's just brush him off for now, we'll talk to him if it really doesn't work." Chapter 13:23. "Alright, we'll talk about it later then." Yu Tian nodded. This was Ling Shan's private matter, after all, and he couldn't say too much about it. He was just giving a suggestion from a friend's perspective. "Yu Tian bro, I called you here to discuss the operation in a couple of days. I actually have some good news for you." Ling Shan shook her head, throwing Yu Feng's worries to the back of her head. "Oh. What good news?" Yu Tian paused. "Don't tell me that Lin Yi agreed to join this operation." That's right, you're right. Ling Shan nodded. With Lin Yi joining us, this operation might be a lot smoother. Yeah, we're both golden class, and you're a golden class late phase peak. But facing those evil grave robbers, I'm still worried that something might go wrong. Yutian nodded. But this way, Lin Yi and I will be the couple, and you'll only be the follower, Ling Shan said, a little embarrassed. Naturally, don't worry, I won't have any thoughts. I've thought it through already. Yutian smiled. I support you and Lin Yi being together. I still have some thoughts, but I've let it go. Alright, then this operation is set. Me, Lin Yi, and you will do it together. As for the others, you don't need to bring them. Ling Shan said. According to the information, the couple likes to work alone, and they don't like to bring too many underlings. Sometimes, they only bring one follower. In fact, it's not always good to have more people in a grave robber. There's a lot of traps in the graveyard, and one mistake and you'll die. It's fine if you have a good follower, but normal followers are just a burden. That's true. Yutian said. When do we leave? I've already contacted the other grave robbers. You better follow up on Wuxia's side. I can't do much. He said he told us everything he knows, but I feel like he's hiding something. Ling Shan shrugged, a little regretful. This guy's really tight-lipped. Other than the things he told us, no matter what I did, he never spilled anything. However, his words were too rigorous and his thoughts were too clear. Even if a normal person were to tell the truth, there would still be some mistakes or omissions when saying the same truth so many times. However, he didn't. It was as if he had prepared a draft. This person's mind is too meticulous, but he's an expert in learning, so it's normal for his IQ to be higher than ordinary criminals. Qin Yutian said, but you don't have to worry about it too much. I think he probably told Lin Yi what he didn't say. It's probably about the medical books in Zhang Liju's tomb. It doesn't have much to do with us. That's possible. Ling Gui remembered that Wuxia said he was going to give Lin Yi something. To Lin Yi, the only things that counted as benefits were money and medical books. Wuxia didn't know Lin Yi, but he knew that Lin Yi was a skilled doctor. He couldn't give Lin Yi more than these two things. After that, Ling Shan and Yutian started to discuss the details of the mission, but most of it was just on paper. They didn't know what it was like inside the tomb, how dangerous it was, and what they were doing now was just to make sure they didn't have to worry about anything when it happened. Today was Xiao Xiao's birthday, and Meng Yao went to the supermarket with Shu early in the morning. They bought a lot of fresh fruits, preparing to make a fruit cake. Tang Yun was kneading the dough and making the cake base while Lin Yi told Xiaobo to buy butter. The miss had all the cooking utensils in the house, and Lin Yi was preparing to make a cake for Xiao Xiao. This wasn't hard for Lin Yi. There weren't any cake shops in Star West Village, and Lin Yi and Old Lin's birthdays were always made by Lin Yi himself. Lin Yi was by Xiao Xiao's side, looking at the thick jacket she was wearing, looking so down. He couldn't help but sigh. Xiao Xiao, don't worry too much. Didn't I tell you already? Uncle Foam will prepare an ice coffin for you and seal you up like your mother. I'll find the fruit for sure. Yeah, I believe you. I'm not worried, I'm just cold. Xiao Xiao said weakly, actually, I'm really happy today, Lin Yi nodded. Xiao Xiao had been like this ever since she woke up 2 days ago. It was probably because she was supposed to be dead, but Lin Yi forcefully extended her life for 2 more days. Naturally, she didn't have much energy left. Alright, it's your birthday, don't knit anymore. Let's put it off for a day. Lin Yi said as he saw Xiao Xiao pick up the needle and start knitting again. Let me knit, I'm afraid I won't make it in time. Who knows if I'll be able to live past tomorrow. Xiao Xiao shook her head and continued. Didn't I say that you won't die? Lin Yi said, you can knit it when you come back to life. That won't do, I want to give it to you now. Xiao Xiao said, who knows how long it'll be before I can come back to life. Lin Yi didn't stop Xiao Xiao from saying that. He got up and went to the kitchen to help Tang Yun with the cake. The doorbell rang, and Tang Yun went to open the door. It was Su Shihan. Lin Yi had called her earlier, inviting her to Xiao Xiao's birthday banquet. She'd booked a ticket to leave today, but for Xiao Xiao, she changed it to tomorrow. Han, you're here. Tang Yun was surprised, not expecting Su Shihan to actually come. Yeah, where's Xiao Xiao? I brought her a present. Su Jinghan said as she took out a gift bag. In the living room, Han, you play with Xiao Xiao for a while. I'm making a cake with Lin Yi, I can't stay with you guys for now. Tang Yun showed Su Shihan her hand that was covered in flour. Alright, go on then. Right, do you need my help? Su Shihan asked. No need, just accompany Xiao Xiao. Tang Yun shook her head. Han, you're here. Xiao Xiao greeted Su Shihan weakly. Xiao Xiao, what's wrong? Why are you so weak? Why are you wearing a jacket at home? Su Shihan's eyes went wide when she saw Xiao Xiao. It's nothing, maybe I'm dying. Xiao Xiao smiled. Chapter 1324. Shihan fell silent. Xiao Xiao had seen through life and death, but she still felt a little uncomfortable. Seeing a friend she'd just met leave made her heart heavy. Alright, Han, let's not talk about this. Lin Yi Honey said that he can cure me, so he definitely can. Who knows, maybe you'll come back in a few years and find me alive again. Xiao Xiao saw that Shihan wasn't in a good mood and started consoling her. Ah. Shihan paused. Naturally, she didn't know about the ice coffin, so it was a little weird. It's nothing. What did you get me? Let me see. Xiao Xiao changed the topic. An album I recorded for you myself. Most of the songs are covers, but there's nothing special about it. I've never released it before, Shihan said as she handed the gift to Xiao Xiao. Wow, not bad at all. I love it. Xiao Xiao happily put the gift away. Meng Yao, Yushu, and Kong Fan all came back one after another. Gooden, Yuan Yuan, Fatty Lai, and Feng Tianlong were all invited as well. After the cake was done, everyone sat around the dining table and started singing the birthday song. Everyone knew about Xiao Xiao, but no one would bring it up right now. They didn't look sad, either. Everyone happily gave their blessings. I'm so touched. This is the first time I've had such a lively birthday. Xiao Xiao said emotionally. I used to celebrate my birthdays with my dad at most, but this time I have so many good friends. Alright, time to turn off the lights and cut the cake. Yushu lit up the candles on the cake and happily turned off the lights in the dining room. In an instant, the dining room turned dark, and only the candlelight flickered. Xiao Xiao's face was flushed from the candlelight, and she looked exceptionally beautiful behind the candlelight. Xiao Xiao, you're 1 year older now. Do you have any wishes? Tianlong smiled at his daughter. Hearing that Lin Yi had a solution, Feng Tianlong let out a sigh of relief. Not only was there hope for Xiao Xiao, but there was also hope for his wife to wake up. This made his 20 years of gloomy mood finally see some light. Yeah. I can't tell you. Xiao Xiao blushed, but under the candlelight, no one could see her blushing. Then, let's all stop talking and let Xiao Xiao make a wish. Shihan suggested. Alright. Xiao Xiao, hurry up and make a wish. Tell me secretly after you're done. Yushu said. Ha. Xiao Xiao nodded and clasped her hands together, closing her eyes as she silently made a wish. Xiao Xiao looked like she'd seen through life and death, and didn't fear death anymore, but in truth, she didn't want to die. Especially with a boyfriend like Lin Yi, and friends like Meng Yao, Yushu, Tang Yun, and Shirhan. She didn't want to die. And so, she made a wish, hoping that Lin Yi would be able to cure her so that she could be with them forever. Xiao Xiao sincerely made her wish, and the beautiful images of the future appeared in her mind. She'd have children with Lin Yi, Tang Yun, Meng Yao, Xiao Xiao, and Shirhan. It was simply too beautiful, and she couldn't help but feel a little dizzy. No one spoke in the dining room, everyone was waiting for Xiao Xiao to make her wish, but after a while, Xiao Xiao didn't look up. Lin Yi felt that something was wrong. Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi called. Xiao Xiao didn't reply. Lin Yi stood up and rushed over, checking Xiao Xiao's breathing and pulse. As expected, it was the same faint feeling she had when she was unconscious. Her illness had acted up, and she couldn't make it past her 20th birthday. Lin Yi subconsciously wanted to bite his wrist and use his blood to heal her, but Jiao Yazi's voice sounded. Don't waste your efforts. The cold in her body has seeped into her bones, and it's not something you can reverse. No matter how much blood you use, it won't do anything. The most important thing right now is to use the method you thought of before to seal her in an ice coffin, and then go find the fruit. Lin Yi paused before coming back to his senses. He stopped biting his wrist and sighed. Uncle Feng, prepare the ice coffin. I can't do it this time. There's nothing I can do. Lin Yi's words stunned everyone. Lin Yi had pulled Xiao Xiao back from the gates of hell time and time again, and they thought that he could do it this time as well. But they didn't expect Lin Yi to say something like that. Xiao Xiao, Tang Yin stood up first, her face pale. Lin Yi, is there no other way? Seal her in an ice coffin as soon as possible. I'll find the fruit, that's the only way. Lin Yi said seriously. Of course, when I break through to Sky Class, I'll be able to save Xiao Xiao, so don't be too sad. Just pretend that she's asleep. Lin Yi was sad as well, but he didn't want others to be sadder, so he tried to comfort them. Meng Yao, Yushu, and Shirhan all looked sad as well. The day had finally come, and it was a good thing that they were all mentally prepared for it. I'll contact the ice coffin right now. Tianlong nodded quickly and started making the call. The usually lively House Chu's villa had returned to its usual calmness, and even the lively Yushu had become quiet. Xiao Xiao's death wasn't something that could be relieved in just 1 or 2 days. Xiao Xiao wasn't in the villa before, but it was a completely different feeling from now. Shield bro, when are you going grave robbing? Yushu urged Lin Yi almost every day, asking him when he was going. Lin Yi, I'll leave Xiao Xiao to you. Meng Yao reminded Lin Yi often that he had a mission, a responsibility. Lin Yi, as long as you save Xiao Xiao. I'll agree to anything, we can play together. Even a threesome is fine. Tang Yin, who was always shy, was even flirting with Lin Yi for Xiao Xiao. Chapter 1325. And so, Lin Yi spent these days researching the mechanisms of the tomb, and the blueprints and instructions Lu Bujia gave him were read over and over by Lin Yi. But even with the blueprints, Lin Yi didn't slack off. It wasn't that Lin Yi didn't trust Lu Bujia, but the information wasn't complete. Lu Bujia's information only talked about the mechanisms on the outskirts of the tomb, but didn't talk about the facilities inside. After all, Lu Bujia himself only observed from the outside, and didn't go in, so no one knew what the situation inside was like. Every afternoon, it was still Lin Yi, the Miss, Shu, and Yin Yin eating together, but something seemed to be missing. No one seemed to want to talk, and the only thing they talked about was urging Lin Yi to go rob the tomb and find a way to save Xiao Xiao. Without Xie Yufeng, the school became peaceful again, and Pin Liang tolerated it for the time being. He didn't have any conflicts with Lin Yi and the others. The days went on, and in the blink of an eye, it was the day of the tomb robber. Lin Yi said goodbye to the Miss, Shu, and Yin Yun, but they didn't seem reluctant at all. Instead, they sighed happily, we're finally leaving. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. He smiled bitterly, wait for my good news. But you have to be careful. Tang Yun said seriously, to us, Xiao Xiao is important, but you're important as well. Don't force yourself, and do what you can. As long as there's life, there's hope. If something happens to you, not only us, but even Xiao Xiao will lose hope. Yeah, Lin Yi, you have to be careful. Meng Yao nodded. I understand, don't worry. Lin Yi nodded and said with a smile. Before leaving, Lin Yi called Guden into the villa. Even though Songshan's enemies hadn't come knocking on their door, Lin Yi was still worried about the girl's safety. It was better to be safe than sorry. Even with Faubert around, Faubert was only a peak late phase golden class, and while he could deal with normal opponents, he wouldn't be able to handle the stronger ones. Guden, I'll leave Yao Yao, Shu, and Yin Yun's safety to you when I'm not here. Lin Yi said. Don't worry, boss. Leave this to me. Guden patted his chest. I'll make sure to protect them when you're not here. But your body is special. You have to remember what I said. Lin Yi said seriously. If a master comes looking for trouble, and you don't have the confidence, just kill him straight away, don't hold back. You're strong, but if a mystic's punch hits you, you'll die for sure. And if the opponent isn't very strong, then cripple his resistance first, then ask the mastermind behind the scenes. I'll remember. Guden remembered Lin Yi's words, he looked honest, but he wasn't stupid, he knew that Lin Yi was telling the truth. That night, Guden moved into the Chu villa, Lin Yi's room. As for Yuan, they had to leave for now. Guden and Yuan didn't want to leave, but as far as he was concerned, the mission his boss gave him was the most important. Lin Yi, on the other hand, went to the police station to meet up with Ling Shan and Yutian. There were some things that needed to be done in unison. The other grave robbers weren't just for show, after all. If their disguise was exposed, then it'd be over. Yutian bro, Ling Shan, you guys should have come up with a detailed plan for the grave robbing, right? Just show it to me. Lin Yi didn't beat around the bush, getting straight to the point. Lin Yi didn't need to be courteous with Yutian and Lin Yi, especially with Ling Shan and Lin Yi. It's done, it's here. Yutian nodded and handed the plan to Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't say much as he sat on the sofa and started flipping through the book. He'd only skimmed through the tomb raiding plans, it was all theoretical stuff, with no practical use at all. He'd only read the introduction to the couple in detail, including their habits, style, etc., 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 etc. The couple rarely interacts with others. Even the other grave robbers don't know their true faces. After Lin Yi finished reading the information, he asked, in other words, we don't have to deliberately disguise ourselves. That's right. The couple is a very cautious and cunning tomb robber. If it weren't for the coincidence that I found them at the border, I wouldn't have been able to kill them. Chen Yutian nodded. This way, it saves us a lot of trouble. They're a rather unique existence in the tomb raiding world. Their skills are high, and they're cunning. Their peers love and hate each other as well. Sometimes, they're greedy and want a piece of every tomb, but other times, they can't do without them. They're very experienced. Lin Yi nodded, right now, it's me and Ling Shan acting as the couple. You're our foundation, right? That's right. Yutian nodded, you're the strongest among the three of us, and the male is also the strongest among the couple. What's your strength now? Or early phase golden class? Lin Yi looked at Yutian and asked. Yes, I'm sorry, but I'm still early phase golden class. Yutian said, a little embarrassed. He hadn't been able to raise his strength because of his talent. Then I'll raise you to peak late phase golden class tonight. You'll be able to protect yourself like Ling Shan, Lin Yi said faintly. Ah. Yu Tian froze. Peak late phase golden class. Did he hear wrongly? Lin Yi was going to raise his strength? And looking at Lin Yi's tone, it seemed like he was talking about something very normal. You should know how Ling Shan raised her strength. Stop wasting time and start now. Lin Yi looked at Yu Tian's shocked face and smiled impatiently. Chapter 1326. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Once the strength of these people increased, even the hidden families and ancient sects would not dare to act rashly in front of him. If he didn't want to be bullied, he had to keep increasing his strength. But at the same time, he also had to help the people around him. This wasn't just helping him, it was also for their own good. Otherwise, once Lin Yi's strength reached a certain level, others wouldn't dare to do anything to him, but what if they tried to do something to his friends and family? Although Lin Yi would definitely go crazy for revenge, there were still some brainless people out there. All right. Yu Tian took a deep breath and said solemnly, I can't thank you enough. Don't say those useless things. Why are you being so polite with me? Lin Yi scolded with a smile, you'll only be able to protect Shu when you're strong enough. I can't protect her forever. You'll still be the big brother in the future. But you and Shu. Yu Tian actually approved of his sister being with Lin Yi. Although there was still Ling Shan here, Tang Yun there, and Xiao Xiao there, but on one hand, Yu Tian could see that his sister really liked Tang Yun, and on the other hand, he admired Lin Yi. Ha! Let's not talk about this. Lin Yi waved his hand, ending the topic. He put his hands on Yu Tian's meridians, start channeling your arts, I'm going to start. All right. Yu Tian nodded, and Lin Yi closed his eyes and entered the jade space, channeling the art of dragon mastery. In the next moment, a large amount of qi was absorbed into Yu Tian's body. Even if Yu Tian had heard Ling Shan talk about how she leveled up once, he couldn't help but be shocked. Could this be the legendary power imparting? The purity of this qi was something Yu Tian had never seen before. Even in the deep mountains and forests, the qi he absorbed wasn't half as pure as this. Yu Tian didn't dare to waste any time and started absorbing as much qi as he could. Ling Shan had already been through Lin Yi's leveling up, and so she wasn't too surprised. She sat quietly on the side, protecting the two, not letting anyone disturb them. After midnight, Lin Yi stopped channeling, and Yu Tian reached the peak of the late phase of the golden class without a doubt. What Lin Yi wasn't surprised was that he still stopped at the bottleneck, unable to take another step forward. I'm really at the peak of the late phase of the golden class. Yu Tian opened his hands in disbelief, shocked, is this for real? In such a short period of time, I actually have this kind of strength. It's like a dream. I felt the same way back then. Ling Shan looked at Lin Yi, who didn't seem to be affected at all, smiling bitterly. Just how strong was this person? Even if it was grandma, she'd lose some strength when she passed on her grandpa's strength, and there was no way she could raise someone from the early phase of the golden class to the peak of the late phase in such a short time. How many levels did he cross in between? This was simply inconceivable. That's all I can do for now. Whether or not you can reach the mystic class depends on your own efforts. Lin Yi said regretfully, if I want to raise you guys to the peak of the late phase of the mystic class, I'll have to work hard to become an earth class. You can still raise. Yu Tian's eyes widened. He didn't think that the day Lin Yi became an earth class would be the day he became a mystic late phase peak. This was too hard to accept, wasn't it? But the truth was the truth, and he had to believe it. After all, he'd seen it with his own eyes. From the early phase of the golden class to the peak of the late phase in one night. The speed was like sitting on a rocket. Alright, let's all get some rest. I'm tired too, don't we have to leave early tomorrow morning? Lin Yi had been using every night to train, so that if he couldn't find the fruit, he'd be able to prolong Xiao Xiao's life when he became a sky class. The effect wasn't as good as the fruit, but it was a safer backup plan. After all, Lin Yi was sure that he'd reach the sky class one day. Lingshan and Yutian didn't object, since it was getting late. But, they were in Lingshan's office, and sleeping was a problem. In Lingshan's break room, there was a sofa that could fit 2 people if they squeezed together, but in the outer room, there was a sofa that could only fit 1 person. Lin Yi, you and Lingshan can sleep on the bed, I'll sleep on the sofa. Yutian had already accepted the fact that Lingshan and Lin Yi were sleeping together, so he suggested. Lingshan blushed, but didn't object. In her heart, she'd long since considered herself as Lin Yi's woman. He'd seen everything, and even tried to seduce him. Why would she care about sleeping with Lin Yi? She couldn't wait. It's okay, I'm not sleeping, I can recover by training. I'll just rest on the chair, you guys sleep, Lin Yi said faintly. Alright. Yutian nodded. I'll sleep on the sofa then. Yutian could see the disappointment on Lingshan's face, but this wasn't something he could meddle in. It was better to sleep first. Then I'll go rest too. Lingshan knew that Lin Yi was a man of his word. If he didn't want to go, there was no point in forcing him. After a night of silence, the 3 started their journey the next day to the ancient tomb in the outskirts of Songshan City. The 3 of them were in an off-road car. It was Yutian's car, but the original license plate had been removed and replaced with a fake one. This was a common method used by grave robbers, and Lingshan and the others naturally followed suit. Although the tomb was in the outskirts of Songshan City, it was still quite far from the city proper, about 5 hours of driving. There were no highways, and there were mountain roads in between, so 5 hours was a conservative estimate. Sure enough, when the 3 of them arrived at their destination, it was already evening. This was a very desolate foot of a mountain. At the foot of the mountain, there was only a small village. It could be seen that the economy here was not very developed. The village was filled with bungalows, and the conditions were not very good. Chapter 13:27. No need, let's go straight. We're all practitioners, we don't need to rest. Lin Yi said faintly. Lingshan nodded. She'd forgotten that they were all practitioners, so she'd naturally suggest that they set up camp in a village to rest, but that wasn't necessary now. Then let's keep going. We should be there soon. Lingshan said. The road became more and more difficult to advance. There was almost no one in this area. Even the people in the nearby villages would not come to this place. This was because this was a mountain range, and it was mainly composed of rock cliffs. There were no wild fruits or animals. People could do nothing but look at the scenery here. The scenery here isn't bad, it's a good place to take pictures. Lin Yi sighed. It's a pity that no matter how good the scenery is, we can't develop it into a tourist spot because of the seclusion. The villages nearby are too poor, and the infrastructure is too bad. It'd take too much investment to develop this place into a tourist spot. No company would invest that much money here, and we don't even know if there'll be any returns. Yutian said. Lin Yi didn't understand business operations, and so he didn't comment on Yutian's words. The car drove for a while, and the road got harder and harder. There were fewer trees on the side of the road, and there was nothing else other than desolate rocks. They'd thought that the scenery was pretty when they first entered the mountain range, but as time went on, it became boring and boring. Chen Yutian was right, this place wasn't suitable for a tourist spot. The scenery was too monotonous, and people who came here once wouldn't come back again. There was no point in staying here. We're almost there. We need to put on our masks. The tents in front might belong to the other tomb robbers. We need to be cautious and alert at all times. Don't let anyone see through us. Ling Shan reminded. There's no need to be vigilant. Being too vigilant would only make people suspicious. Let's just do what we need to do. Lin Yi said faintly. The couple's style is very overbearing and arrogant, the information mentioned that, too. Everyone in the industry knows that. Why would they be cautious? You're right, I was too worried. Ling Shan said, getting taught a lesson. With that, Lin Yi, Ling Shan, and Yu Qian put on the masks they'd prepared beforehand. These masks were all taken from the couple, and they were all original masks. They didn't even need to copy them. As the car got closer, they saw rows of tents and rows of vehicles not far away. Most of the vehicles were off-road vehicles, but there were also a few large trucks. They were probably loaded with living materials. These grave robbers had many underlings, unlike the couple who preferred to be alone. When Qin Yutian drove closer, a few men with assault rifles walked out of the tent. Behind them, a short and skinny man waved his hand, signaling Qin Yutian to stop. What are you doing? This is a military administrative area. There's construction in front of us. We can't go through. The short and thin man said lightly. If it were a normal tourist, they might have really believed the man's words and turned around to leave, but Qin Yutian came here with a purpose. Naturally, he wouldn't believe the man's words. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. There's wood in front, right? Qin Yutian said faintly. This was the newest entrance to the grave robber's business, and he got it from Wuxia himself. He believed that the short and thin man would understand. Oh. The man said calmly. Heavenly King covers Earth Tiger. The previous sentence was a common opening in the tomb robbing industry, and this sentence was the agreed-upon secret code for this tomb robbing. If they could not answer, then sorry, the short and thin man would wave his hand, and the burly men with the submachine guns would not hesitate to open fire. If he could match the first sentence but not the second sentence, it was very likely that this person was also a member of the thief sect. He must have heard the news and wanted to fish in troubled waters to get some benefits. Therefore, the dark and thin man would never let these people have a share of the profits. Pagoda bearing Heavenly King Li. Qin Yutian said calmly. He got this secret code from the couple's logbook. Even Wuxia didn't know this secret code. The couple might have been afraid of forgetting this secret code, so they recorded it in their logbook. Both Yutian and Ling Shan wanted to laugh when they first saw the signal. The first reaction most people would have was the pagoda suppressing the river monster, but it'd be a huge mistake if they were to say something like that out of their mouth. A friend from afar. May I ask which group you're from? The short and thin man's face softened a bit. He knew that this was the group they'd agreed on. Old hey, you don't even fucking recognize me anymore. Why were you wasting my time? Do you want me to make him run you over? Before Qin Yutian could say anything, Lin Yi opened the car door unhappily and jumped down, scolding the man. According to Qin Yutian's information, this old He was the leader of the Red Pagoda tomb robbers, as well as the discoverers of this tomb. The couple had a weird temper and thought highly of their skills, looking down on their peers. They weren't very popular usually, but when it came to difficult tombs like this, they had no choice but to invite them over. And so, Lin Yi started scolding them as soon as he got out of the car. Male thief, you're still so bad-tempered. I'm just doing this for safety. The fewer people here, the more benefits we'll get. I'm just worried that someone might hear about this and come join in the fun. The short and thin man called Old Hay shook his head helplessly. He was pissed off, but there was nothing else he could do. Humph. Lin Yi humphed coldly. Where are the others? Are they all here? My time is limited. King Bro, Hao Yi, and James are all here. They're resting over there. The short and thin man said. Everyone's here. When is it starting? Lin Yi asked. According to the information he'd read, there were only 5 groups of people who'd come this time, and one of the couples had already become him. The other 4 groups were all present. Chapter 13:28. He only nodded. If you guys are hungry, you can buy some food over there. With that, the skinny man pointed at the 2 trucks not far away. No need, we brought our own food. Lin Yi said faintly before getting back into the car. Yu Tian, on the other hand, drove off to find the camp. What the hell, an idiot. Beside the skinny man was a big man with a submachine gun. He spat out a mouthful of phlegm on the ground as he watched Lin Yi's car leave. Does he really think he's some sort of big shot? He's so rich, and he brings his own food every time. Why didn't he get killed by the traps in the tomb? He's not on the same side as us, we don't get along well, maybe he's worried that we'll poison his food. Old He shook his head and went back to the tent without saying anything else. Lin Yi, you're not bad. Ling Shan praised after the car was far away. I was so nervous just now, scared that old He would see through us. His eyes are like sharp swords, like they can see through people's thoughts. But you got out of the car and started yelling at him. It's fine if he yelled at me. Lin Yi said faintly. What do we do now? Set up a tent like them? Yes. According to the data, the couple doesn't have a good relationship with the other tomb robbers, so we don't need to visit them, we just need to wait here. Ling Shan said. Lin Yi nodded and started setting up the tent with Yu Tian. He then took out some food from the car and went into the tent. Old He had been watching Lin Yi's group with his binoculars, and only breathed out in relief when he saw them setting up the tent like normal and not doing anything else. Although Old Black felt that there was nothing wrong with the burglar couple today and everything seemed normal, for some reason, he felt that the male burglar couple gave off a dangerous feeling. It was different from before. Blackie shook his head. Perhaps he was being too sensitive. Inside the tent, Yu Tian and Ling Shan were munching on bread and drinking mineral water. Lin Yi, on the other hand, just ate something and started practicing. There was an endless amount of energy in the jade space that he could absorb, so skipping meals was fine. As for that piece of bread, it was just out of habit. Let's take turns to be on duty at night. One person will be on duty while the others sleep. Ling Shan said as she ate. I don't feel too reassured. I'm worried that they'll notice something and do something bad to us. Not at the moment, but it's fine. You guys go to sleep. I'll keep watch. Lin Yi said indifferently, my cultivation is no different from sleeping. I can sense everything that is happening outside. Ling Shan's mouth was agape, but she didn't say anything. She knew how weird Lin Yi was, after all, and it wasn't a surprise to her. Xiaoke was about to die from tiredness. Money really wasn't that easy to earn. Earning some extra money to support the orphanage wasn't easy at all. Although the orphanage had received a huge donation from Songshan Songshan First School, more than 2 million, she couldn't just sit there and do nothing. She wouldn't let go of a chance to earn money. Songshan's anti-theft operation was still ongoing, and Xiaoke had no business to do it all. She had to look for other opportunities. She posted a mission on the Thief's Doors website, and a tomb robber organization called Red Pagoda accepted her mission, asking her to help with the tomb robberies. And so, Xiaoke came. But she didn't have a car. She did rent one before, but the driver would only drive her to the village in front at most. He wouldn't drive any further. It couldn't be helped. Xiaoke called a taxi, not a sedan. Driving on this kind of road would damage the chassis, and no amount of money would let her go. And so, Xiaoke could only walk after getting off the car. Although she was the successor of Fian's sect, and her qigong was amazing, walking 10 kilometers in one go was still exhausting. After all, she was a girl, and her stamina wasn't that good to begin with. Damn it, I'm finally here. Yu Xiaoke was on the verge of tears when she saw the tent not far away. She couldn't help but cheer and use her qigong to run forward. Who are you? Old He was still blocking Xiaoke's path with a few men with guns. People from the Fian sect, Yu Xiaoke stopped and said while gasping for breath. You walked here? Old He was confused when he saw someone running over, but he didn't expect it to be the Fian sect he was waiting for. He couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Fian sect's people were amazing, running this far. Yeah. Why didn't you send a car to pick me up? I'm so tired. Xiaoke rubbed her waist and complained. Heavenly King covers Earth Tiger. Old He felt that this girl in black was most likely from Fian sect, but he still asked out of caution. Pagoda bearing Heavenly King Li. Xiaoke said. Alright, I got it. Let me see what the tomb looks like. We should talk about our conditions. Of course. Please come with me. Old Black nodded. He didn't dare to offend the people of the Fian sect. The Fian sect was an established sect in the thief sect. They had a unique understanding of secret mechanisms. This time, I'm not the only one participating in this grave robbing operation. So, we need to discuss how much we can give you. I don't have the final say. Of course, it all depends on your own ability. Old Black's words were very clear. If you want more benefits, you have to show some ability. If you can enter the tomb smoothly, then it wouldn't be a problem to give you a share. But if you're not good enough, then you won't be of much use. At most, they'll just give you a reward. Alright. Xiaoke nodded. Lin Yi was training when footsteps came from outside the tent. Lin Yi immediately came back to reality and stood up. Someone's here, but it's not a master. Tian, go take a look. Yu Tian was here as a follower, so Lin Yi called him Lil Tian. Chapter 1329. What's the matter? Yu Tian asked faintly. The man paused upon seeing Yu Tian come out. He didn't expect the thief couple's follower to be such a master, noticing him walking over. But he wasn't surprised, which tomb robber didn't have masters by their side? Even Old He had a mystic class master by his side. These people lived their lives with their heads hanging on their waists. One wrong move and they'd die in a tomb. Hey bro wants the two of you to go to his tent. The guests are here, and he wants to have a meeting to discuss the profit sharing. The man didn't beat around the bush, getting straight to the point. Alright, you go back first. We'll be right there. Yu Tian nodded. The man didn't say much. This was how the couple were, and they didn't interact much. He turned and left after informing them. Yu Tian went back to the tent and told Lin Yi and Ling Shan what the man wanted. The man wasn't speaking softly, and Lin Yi and Ling Shan heard him clearly. The three prepared themselves and left the tent, heading to Old He's. Old He's tent was the outermost one, in charge of interrogations and security. Lin Yi's tent, on the other hand, was the innermost one, and so by the time they reached Old He's tent, the others were already there. With the couple's usual style, they wouldn't take the initiative to greet other people, and so Lin Yi and Ling Shan found a place to sit down. Yutian, on the other hand, stood behind them as a bodyguard. King Bro was the leader of a group of tomb robbers, and King Bro was just his nickname. As the name suggested, his face was full of holes, as if he had some sort of illness. In short, he was terrifyingly ugly. Old Hao, on the other hand, was an old man in his 50s. According to the information, he was a senior in the tomb raiding industry, highly respected and experienced. This time, Old Black was afraid that he wouldn't be able to take the tomb for himself, and that others would have other ideas, so he got Old Hao to take charge. The last person was a foreigner named James. But thinking about it, James was just his alias. It was impossible for people in this industry to show their real names. Many foreigners were interested in antiques, but not many of them were here to rob tombs. This James is a capable person. It was said that when the tomb was first discovered, he was there as well, and King Bro was there as well. Only Old Hao joined later. Alright, everyone's here, it's not the first time we've worked together, so there's no need for introductions. I'll introduce you all to an external helper, a famous one in the Steel sect, the successor of the Fian sect. With that, Old Hay waved his hand, and Xiaoka walked into the tent. Lin Yi and Ling Shan paused when they saw Xiaoka enter the tent. Why was she here? But when Old Hay introduced the Fian sect, he suddenly remembered that the first time he met Xiaoka, this girl had claimed that she was a disciple of the Fian sect, and wanted to compete with him. Who would have thought that Xiaoka would be invited by Old Hay as well? Lin Yi and Ling Shan exchanged glances, both a bit surprised and a bit alarmed. They couldn't let Xiaoka find out about their identities, at least not in front of everyone. Otherwise, they'd have no chance at all. Everyone knows what the Fian sect does, and I'm sure everyone here knows about the traps in the tomb. We don't have much confidence, and Wuxia isn't helping us, so we can only ask for external help. Old Hay said. Let's split the benefits before we rob the tomb, so we don't have to worry about conflicts later. I agree. We need to have rules when we're working together, otherwise we'll get blinded by greed. Old Hao was the first to agree. He was here to hold the line, so naturally he agreed with Old Hay's point of view. I agree as well, it's better to be clear about this. King Bro nodded. Nothing can be accomplished without rules, I agree. James said in a weird tone. I have no objections, Lin Yi said faintly. Alright, since no one has any objections, then let's start splitting the benefits. I have a suggestion, I wonder if anyone has any objections. Old Hay said. We found this tomb together, but I was the one who got the clue first, so I should take 30%. Yes, that's a good idea. Everyone nodded. Every profession had its own rules, and as the one who gave the clue, Old Hay naturally had the right to take 30%. King Bro, Old Hao, the duo, and James, you guys take 15% each, and the remaining 10% goes to the Sparrow Girl from the Fian sect. Old Hay said. Of course, the Sparrow Girl needs to show her true strength. Sure. After a moment of silence, King Bro, Old Hao, and James all nodded in agreement. There had to be a lot of treasures in this sort of dangerous tomb, but if they didn't have someone powerful, they wouldn't be able to get in. 15% didn't sound like much, but it was still a huge amount of wealth. Moreover, this distribution was clearly the most reasonable. Although Old Black took double, he was the one who put in the most effort. Moreover, after he received the information, he didn't monopolize it. Instead, he shared it with everyone to find the exact location of the ancient tomb. 15% is too little, I want 20. At this moment, Lin Yi spoke up. Ling Shan paused, a little annoyed at Lin Yi for messing with her. Even if he wanted 100%, it wouldn't be his in the end, so why did he have to do this? But Lin Yi had already spoken, and she couldn't go against it. She could only see how Lin Yi would handle this. Oh. Old Hay frowned. He didn't expect the male thief to speak up. But he didn't want to piss off this male thief, since he wasn't much weaker than Wuxia and the Fian sect. Male thief, how do you think we should split it? I don't care how others split it, I want 20%. Lin Yi said domineeringly. That's. Old He sighed. This distribution is the most reasonable. If you wanted an extra 5%, I wouldn't be able to take it from the others, so I'd have to take it from my share. But why should I give you that extra 5%? Chapter 1330. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything else. Ling Shan and Yutian, on the other hand, started to admire Lin Yi. The more Lin Yi was so calculative, the more he fit the image of a thief couple. These people wouldn't suspect anything. Sparrow Girl, what about you? Do you have any objections? Old He turned to Xiaoke. I'll give you 10%, and that's according to the rules. Nothing more, nothing less. Technological foreign aid is 10% of the profits. No problem. Xiaoke nodded agreeably. In fact, Old He was very fair, since everyone was paying the same price. But let's get this straight up front. If you can't solve anything, then I'll just give you some money and let you go back. Old He said. This 10% is still valuable. I understand. Xiaoke said confidently. You know Fian sect's reputation, right? They keep their word. But I want cash for this 10%, not items. What Xiaoke lacked was money, and she had no use for the treasures in the tomb. It would be hard to get rid of them, so she suggested it directly. Sure, but you know the rules. The discount rule is 20% off the market price. Old He said. We can't get rid of them immediately. There's always a risk if we keep them in our hands. Understood. Xiaoke nodded. But if you don't want them, I can pick them up, right? That's up to you. Old He nodded. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Xiaoke's words. This girl really was a little money grubber. She didn't want to let go of anything at all. Why would she want to pick up things that other people didn't want? But no matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. These grave robbers had very high standards, and they wouldn't be interested in normal things. Picking them up would take up too much space, and some small things like gold and silver would be good for Xiaoke. After confirming the division of benefits, there was nothing else to talk about. Old He said, since no one has anything to say, then it's settled. I don't want any conflicts of interest. I think with Old Hao here, everyone can follow the rules. Everyone nodded, but no one knew how much sincerity was in this nod. When the benefits were not big enough, everyone could naturally abide by the rules, but once the benefits were to the point of making people jealous, then it was hard to say. I'll head back first. Lin Yi said faintly as he stood up and walked out of the tent, Ling Shan and Yutian following closely behind. Let's all get some rest. We'll enter the tomb together tomorrow morning. Old Black nodded and said. Back in the tent, Ling Shan said immediately, that Fian sect, but Lin Yi put a hand over her mouth and made a shushing gesture. Lin Yi, on the other hand, continued. Humph, the Fian school might not be able to do that, we have some key information about this tomb in our hands. Even if they could solve it before, the last step is still up to us. Otherwise, everyone will die. With that, Lin Yi pointed at a corner of the tent. Ling Shan and Yutian looked at where Lin Yi was pointing, and saw that there was a listening device installed on the side of the tent. Ling Shan's heart skipped a beat. She was lucky. She had been too rash, and if it weren't for Lin Yi's quick reaction, she would have been exposed. She wanted to say that Fian Sek's flying sparrow girl was Xiaoke, wasn't that the female thief she was after. Her identity would have been exposed if she said that, and Old Black's assault rifles would have surrounded them. Even if the three of them managed to escape, the mission would have been a failure. Tian, check the inside of the tent, see if anyone did anything to it. After saying that, Lin Yi seemed to have remembered something, ordering Yutian. Yes. Yutian pretended to check the insides of the tent. It'd be too fake if he found the listening device right away. He wanted to search for a while before taking it out. He'd also check the other parts of the tent to see if anyone had done anything to it. Old Black was listening to Lin Yi and Lingshan's conversation with a listening device, and he heard Lin Yi telling Yutian to check if anyone had done anything to the tent. He was troubled. He thought to himself that this couple was still on guard against others. But that was to be expected. Who wouldn't be on guard in this line of work? He'd asked his men to put a listening device in someone else's tent when they were discussing. Wasn't that to guard against others as well? After hearing Lin Yi's words, Old Black finally understood why Lin Yi was so confident in asking for 20%. He had a trump card. He actually had information on this tomb. Old Black's heart palpitated as he listened to Lin Yi talk about the mechanism. Luckily, he'd agreed to Lin Yi's request. Otherwise, wouldn't they all be dead in the tomb? Wouldn't it be a huge loss if Lin Yi took advantage of them all? Not long after, it was obvious that the male thief's subordinate, Xiao Tian, had found the listening device. There was only a creaking sound, and there was no sound from the earpiece. The listening device had been destroyed. Didn't expect this couple to have a trump card up their sleeves. No wonder they were so cocky. One of Old Black's underlings said. He was in charge of listening to the other tomb robbers, but the others didn't say anything important, and he carefully removed the listening device. Evidently, no one here was an idiot. They were all people with some tricks up their sleeves. Old Black shook his head. This was the only thing he could do. Everyone had spoken nicely, and there wasn't anything wrong with the distribution of benefits, but who knew what would happen tomorrow? Yu Xiaoke didn't bring a tent, but Old Black gave her one. She didn't have the money to buy things from the supply truck, which belonged to another faction in the Steel sect. There was a group of people in the Steel sect who didn't participate in tomb robberies, but would go wherever there were tomb robberies to sell their daily necessities. They had everything, but the price was ridiculously high. This line of work had been around for a long time, and they'd gotten permission from a few respected seniors in the sect. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.